Chapter 5087. Okay, since you are destined, then I will let it go to the end. 500. The old man looked at Long Chen and raised his voice deliberately. Brother, don't be fooled, this is a lie, this method is too obvious. Someone around reminded Long Chen kindly. Long Chen smiled and said, It's okay, the so-called wealth and danger seek, life is like gambling, until the end, no one knows who wins and who loses. Long Chen just counted the 500 Holy King pills exaggeratedly before handing them over to the old man. The old man also counted them again and confirmed that they were correct. Please, remember, anyone who is destined can only choose once. Don't be greedy, otherwise, once the fate is exhausted, everything will be empty, and you will not be able to take anything with you. The old man said very seriously. Long Chen's heart is funny, this old liar still has some skills in acting. Long Chen walked to the great desolate halberd and watched for a while, then came to the 10 realms map, and finally walked to the Qiankuan cauldron, pretending to be authentic. You have the strongest feeling for me. If you have a fate with me, come with me. Then Long Chen stretched out his hand and pressed it on the Qiankuan cauldron. At first, the Qiankuan cauldron didn't move at all. At this moment, a sneer appeared on the faces of countless people around, and they all thought that this idiot was fooled. Buzz, suddenly, the Qiankuan cauldron trembled slightly, and the runes all over the body lit up, then darkened, and then flashed again. At that moment, the powerhouses present were stunned. It actually gave birth to induction? Is it true or false? Countless people exclaimed. Oh my God, the item spirit was reborn and awakened. The old man shouted excitedly. For tens of thousands of years, the old man has carried them all over the 9 days and 10 places, and now I have finally helped one of them find someone who is destined. I can finally be worthy of my teacher's entrustment. Teacher, have you seen it? Your disciple did it. You can rest your eyes under Jiuquan. The old man looked at the sky with tears streaming down his face and was very excited. At that moment, Long Chen almost burst out laughing. It's just text, aren't you afraid of being exposed? Buzzing. Long Chen used the power of flames to activate those runes, making the entire Qiankuan cauldron seem to come alive, causing countless people to exclaim. Long Chen suddenly waved his hand, and the Qiankuan cauldron was suspended above Long Chen's head, spinning for a while, and endless flames flew. It's all right, put it away, it will be revealed in a while. The old man saw Long Chen starting to perform, and hurriedly said. But only then did Long Chen put away the cauldron disappeared, and the old man shouted excitedly, It's amazing to complete the recognition of the master so quickly, congratulations. Tofu. Long Chen clenched his fists slightly and said excitedly. His excitement was not fake, he was indeed very excited, because Qiankuan Ding told him the purpose of this imitation. One of the 3 artifacts has already found its owner. Do you want to be their owner? I want to see if you have a relationship with them. Come on, don't need 1008, don't need 998, just 28 Holy King pills. You can take a test. If you are a lucky person, you can directly take the magic weapon home. Just as Long Chen put away the Qiankuan cauldron, the old man was already shouting loudly. As a result, when he shouted, those cultivators who witnessed Long Chen put away the Qiankuan cauldron suddenly couldn't help it. If they were asked to pay for it, they would definitely not be able to afford it. But with 28 Holy King pills, you can give it a try. They suddenly came to the spirit, and for a while, countless people ran over, and the old man immediately began to collect money, and at the same time cast a grateful look at Long Chen. Thank you very much, the old man said to Long Chen. This trick was taught to him by Long Chen, and he also knew that the 2 imitations were dead, and the probability of wanting to sell them was extremely low, and when he got these 3 imitations, they were actually stolen by others. Liar, for many years, I have not been able to get out. And Long Chen taught him this trick, which is an eye-opener for him. One person has 28 Holy King pills. Now, at least hundreds of people are queuing up, which means that he will have at least thousands of Holy King pills. The most important thing is that, in the end, the 2 visiting tools are still his, the spirits of the tools are dead, and he still recognizes the master of Mao. Long Chen smiled and pulled Feng Yu and the others away. Qian Kuan-ding said speechlessly, "Really, he has to thank you for taking such a big advantage. This is called a win-win situation. I earned it and he also earned it." Long Chen said with a smile. Buzz, at this moment in the chaotic space, a young girl appeared. She was no one else. It was in the mortal world that Long Chen obtained the owner of the Yaoyue furnace Linger. Later, in order to distinguish them better, Long Chen called her Yao Linger, Lei Linger, Hua Linger, and Yao Linger would be much easier to talk to. After arriving in the immortal world, Yao Linger has been unable to help Long Chen. Long Chen asked her to cultivate and improve herself in a pill furnace, and one day she will find a suitable body for her. However, her growth was too slow, and the powerful alchemy furnace was beyond her control. Long Chen simply put her into a dormant state to see if she could find a suitable opportunity for her in the future. Now, Qian Kuan-ding has injected divine power into her body with its own power. At this moment, she is bathed in divine light and slowly descends on the imitation. Between the imitation product and the Qian Kuan-ding is the demon spirit. She has become a bridge, connecting the two Qian Kuan-dings, the real one and the imitation. You have picked up a big bargain. Don't look at it as an imitation. In fact, when it was built, it was competing with me for the luck of heaven and earth. Qian Kuan-ding said, "Competing with you for luck?" Long Chen was taken aback. In order to limit our strength, someone secretly created 12 imitations to divert the fate of the world, weaken our strength, and slow down our recovery. However, they depend on our power to survive, and when we ourselves fall asleep, their lives are completely exhausted. And in this world, only I can wake it up and recast it. You must know that when they were created, they were true imperial soldiers. Do you think you picked up a big bargain? Qian Kuan-ding said. "I'll go, then I really make a lot of money now." Long Chen said excitedly. However, if Qian Kuan-ding wants to reinvigorate the imitation product, he must first use his own power to activate all the runes of the imitation product, and then send the demon spirit into it, and help her fully adapt to and control the imitation product. It will take some time. However, Long Chen is not in a hurry. At this time, Long Chen is in a better mood than ever. When he thinks that Yao Linger can wake up and can control a royal soldier, his heart can't help but become hot, and he has more confidence in this trip to the heavenly fire demon realm. Go away. Long Chen's mind was immersed in the chaotic space, and suddenly a cold drink came from the front. Chapter 5088. Long Chen was in a good mood, but when he saw the person in front of him, his eyes turned cold, and his killing intent rose instantly. Heavenly people, what Long Chen didn't expect was that he met someone from the Celestial Clan here, and the person who told him to get out of the way was none other than the Celestial Clan Tianjiao Zhangbenji, who had his thigh removed by Long Chen. At this time, Zhangbenji was already the son of destiny, but he led a group of disciples of the Celestial Clan to clear the way. Behind him, a group of people surrounded a woman with an indifferent face. The woman's brow bones are slightly higher, with a pair of sword eyebrows, a pair of eyes are deep and gloomy, her pupils are much larger than normal people, although she looks like a human race, but her breath is extremely cold, like a ghost from hell the messenger, it is terrifying from the heart. This breath. When Long Chen saw the woman, he couldn't help being shocked. This breath was familiar to him. Suddenly, Long Chen thought of a person, Tuyo Rakshasa, the woman who claimed to have Azura blood. Yes, it is the Shura bloodline. This woman's breath is 10 million times stronger than that of Juyo Rakshasa. Could she be from the Shura family? Long Chen was secretly shocked. The Shura family, a mysterious ethnic group that has been passed down to the Chaos Era, it is said that they are the rulers of Hell and one of the strongest races in the Chaos Era, as famous as the Jiuli, Zishue, and Tiantong clans. However, the Shura family is an extremely rare race. Most people have only heard of it but have never seen it. Long Chen has played against Joyo Rakshasas several times and is very familiar with this kind of breath. When Long Chen looked at the woman felt a sense of heart and looked at Long Chen. When the two looked at each other, Long Chen's body suddenly trembled, and he turned his face, not daring to look at her. Long Chen was shocked to find that when he looked at her, Long Chen's purgatory eye instantly became active. If Long Chen hadn't avoided it in time, the purgatory eye would have been activated automatically. Does my purgatory eye have anything to do with the Shura family? How could it suddenly get out of control? Long Chen's heart was beating wildly. Long Chen's eye of purgatory is connected to the eye of the demon, and he dare not activate it easily, because once the eye of purgatory is out of control, it will wake up the demon, which is what Long Chen is most afraid of. The woman also looked at Long Chen in shock. Although Long Chen avoided her eyes in time, the moment the two eyes met, her hairs exploded, and the feeling of extreme danger was instantly flooded. Get out of the way, do you hear me? Zhang Benji shouted angrily when he saw Long Chen tilted his neck and stood in front of them, blocking their way. Zhang Benji, shut up for me. The woman scolded Zhang Benji. Zhang Benji was extremely arrogant a moment ago, and the next moment, like a tortoise with its head shrinking, he retreated without daring to say a word. The woman came to Long Chen and looked at Long Chen up and down. The White Dragon Clan? I didn't expect the White Dragon Clan to have such a master. What's your name? Long Chen turned his head and looked at the woman. This time, he took precautions and didn't look into the woman's eyes. He said lightly, I didn't expect that people from the Celestial Clan actually have the blood of Shura. The name of the Shura clan is not something that a low-level creature like you can mention, so be careful that it comes out of your mouth. The woman said coldly. Obviously, Long Chen revealed her bloodline, which made her uncomfortable and warned her coldly. As soon as the woman opened her mouth, Bai Yingshi's face suddenly turned ugly. She even said that the Bailong family was a low-level creature, which was a slander and humiliation to the entire dragon family, which she absolutely could not tolerate. Che, you are a hybrid of human race and Shura race, and you dare to speak so boldly, who gave you the courage? Of course, Long Chen would not be accustomed to her and replied directly. Court death. Sure enough, Long Chen's ability to scold people is quite powerful, and the woman's anger broke out with one sentence. The woman has always been proud of her bloodline of half the Shura tribe, but Long Chen mocked her with her proudest thing and immediately let her go. Her killing intent rose. Want to do it? Come here, hit here. Seeing the woman's stance, Long Chen did not retreat but advanced, pointing at his head arrogantly. The woman was trembling with anger, and the movement on this side had already attracted the attention of the Pill Valley powerhouses in the square, especially the Sanmai Tianxing in the center of the square, who also looked at them coldly, his eyes full of warnings. Wait for me, dare to humiliate the great Shura clan, the White Dragon clan, right? I, Luo Yujiao, in the heavenly fire demon realm will let you all go back and forth. The woman blew her name. Che, it really is a bastard. The Shura family is all surnamed Shura. They don't allow the non-pure-blooded Shura family to use this name. Therefore, bastards can only be surnamed Xiao, or surnamed Luo, or they can be called noble with titles such as Rakshasa and Wudu. Hehe, the world has changed, and bastards dare to be so arrogant. Long Chen sneered. When he first encountered Juyo Rakshasa, Long Chen also deliberately searched for ancient books to study the Shura family. Although he didn't know much, he knew the most basic things. And these most basic things are enough to be lethal enough to scold people. Luo Yujiao was trembling with anger, her teeth were about to be shattered, her pupils began to expand continuously, black ripples were flowing, and she was almost out of control. But Long Chen didn't show any fear, looking at her arrogantly, as if he didn't agree with you and hit me. For a time, countless powerful people around looked towards this side. When they saw Luo Yujiao's appearance, they all exclaimed. Although they didn't look at Luo Yujiao, but when they saw her eyes, they suddenly felt severe pain in their souls, as if the soul was grasped by a big hand full of thorns, and it was about to be pulled out of the body. For a time, countless people were stunned. When they learned that Luo Yujiao was in the Shura bloodline, they were all shocked, and their eyes were full of awe. These 4 names of the Shura family were enough to scare a large number of people. You wait for me, Luo Yujiao looked at Long Chen, her voice burst out from her teeth, and then she bypassed Long Chen and walked over. Why are they so arrogant? Let me wait, I'm not your father, why should I take care of you? Long Chen pouted, and a word almost made Luo Yujiao, who had just walked over, go berserk. But she finally held back and then left so quickly, it seemed that she was afraid that she could not help but kill Long Chen. She had to find a place to vent her emotions. I'm really sorry, I'm a troublemaker, everyone will be implicated by me. Long Chen looked at Buying Xue and said helplessly. In fact, he didn't want to cause trouble, but he was plagued by bad luck and was born with a black physique. This is really impossible. The most important thing is that if he changed his identity, the enemy will still find him, and this is no one. Don't be afraid, the bigger the noise, the better, so that the clock will ring. This is what we came here for. Buying Xue smiled. When Long Chen heard the words, he laughed and took them to continue the treasure hunt. As a result, Long Chen found that his good luck had been used up, and he could no longer find any leaks. With the remaining money, Feng Yu and Hu Xiaoyu bought 2 good heavenly holy soldiers and a few life-saving treasures for Feng Yu and Hu Xiaoyu, and also bought an escape plate for Buying Xue, and then everyone returned to Wanlong's nest. After returning to Wanlong's nest, Long Chen introduced Feng Yu and Hu Xiaoyu to Buying Xian, and Buying Xian knew that the two were Long Chen's old friends, so she was relieved to let them live. Long Chen returned to his residence, and his consciousness immediately entered the chaotic space. Long Chen was just about to check whether the 3 dragon corpses had digested, and suddenly a surprise sound came with a choked voice, "Brother Long Chen." Chapter 5089. When he heard that voice, Long Chen was ecstatic, and saw Yao Linger incarnated as a beautiful girl, standing on the Qiankuan cauldron. Yao Linger was wearing a long bronze dress and even her hair was bronze. She looked at Long Chen with big eyes. When Long Chen turned around, she had already thrown herself into Long Chen's arms. "Brother Long Chen, I miss you so much." Yao Linger threw herself into Long Chen's arms, sobbing, holding Long Chen's waist with both hands, for fear that Long Chen would fly away. "Isn't Brother Long Chen always by your side?" Long Chen smiled and comforted. "But I'm afraid that once I fall asleep, I'll never wake up. I'm afraid that Brother Long Chen thinks that I'm useless, so he will let me sleep all the time." Yao Linger choked. Hearing Yao Linger's words, Long Chen felt a burst of guilt. For a long time, he really forgot about Yao Linger. If it wasn't for the Qiankuan cauldron this time, Long Chen would never have thought of finding a suitable pill stove for Yao Linger to live in. When he thought of this, seeing Yao Linger crying bitterly, Long Chen immediately felt ashamed. "Don't cry, you don't have to sleep in the future, my brother still expects you to help me," Long Chen said to Yao Linger with a smile. Only then did Yao Linger stop crying. "I will work hard, I will continue to become stronger, and I will never be a burden to Brother Long Chen again." "Nonsense, you are so good, you have always been my biggest helper," Long Chen said. To know that these 2 biggest words hit Yao Linger's heart, she suddenly became happy. "I want to help Brother Long Chen, refining a lot of medicinal pills, and helping Brother Long Chen beat bad guys." Long Chen nodded. Yao Linger took control of this cauldron. It was the imperial soldier, and her help to him in the future would be immeasurable. "This cauldron will be named after you in the future. It's called Yaoyue Cauldron, okay?" Long Chen pointed at the imitation Qiankuan cauldron. "That's great." Yao Linger was immediately excited to be named after her. Buzz, with a wave of Yao Linger's jade hand, the Yaoyue cauldron rose into the air, and countless runes circulated on it, and there was a trace of imperial power hanging down. "You have to take it easy, you have to continue to adapt to it, don't rashly use the aura of the emperor, or you will be easily injured," Qiankuan Ding warned. Hearing Qiankuan cauldron's warning, Yao Linger suddenly became orderly. She seemed to be very afraid of Qiankuan cauldron and returned directly to Qiankuan cauldron, as if a student met a strict teacher and did not dare to be presumptuous at all. "Senior, you have worked hard," Long Chen said. "This is nothing, I didn't consume much of the power of the source, I just hope that she will grow up quickly, and then you will have a powerful imperial soldier by your side. After all, because of my own attributes, I have too many restrictions, and I can't help you many times, but it is different. It can be used as a weapon, and it can be used as a weapon without fear of killing," Qiankuan Ding said. "Can it help me kill?" Long Chen was shocked. "Of course, after my transformation, It has become a demon cauldron which can not only refine demon pills, but also defend against enemies. However, it is not a killer after all. There is no attack method, but it can be used to smash people, which you are very good at. Qianquan Ding said. Long Chen smiled, but this is true. Long Chen used Qianquan cauldron to smash a lot of people before, and he used this trick very well. In addition, with it, it can also hide my identity and the breath of Yaolinger, and I can switch freely so that others can't tell the difference. Qianquan Ding said. Long Chen admired it. Qianquan Ding thought so thoughtfully, and the news that Long Chen had Qianquan Ding in his hands must have begun to spread. However, many people are still doubting the authenticity. Now they have obtained the high imitation of Yaoyue cauldron. Once used, it can hide people's eyes and ears and make others mistakenly think that what Long Chen got is an imitation, not the real Qianquan cauldron. It is very important to Long Chen. After Qianquan cauldron finished speaking, he continued to teach Yaolinger. At this time, Qianquan cauldron was teaching Yaolinger how to control Yaoyue cauldron at a micro level. And alchemy is the key to the complete fusion of Yaolinger and Yaoyuding. Control and fusion are two levels, and the gap between the two is huge. Only after the complete fusion can Yaolinger be considered to have a body. After she has a body, she can use the Yaoyue cauldron to make herself grow rapidly. Only when her strength matches the Yaoyue cauldron can she play the true role of the imperial soldier. Strength, this road is easy to say but difficult to do. Yaolinger finally got a chance. She is very hardworking and serious, and has Qianquan Ding to teach her. She is not struggling to learn, and the progress has far exceeded Qianquan Ding's expectations. With the Qianquan cauldron demon linger, Long Chen doesn't need to worry about it. He came to the black soil. At this time, 3/10,000 of miles of giant dragons were crawling on the black soil. The body was not swallowed, and there were even signs of swallowing. Seeing this scene, Long Chen was overjoyed, which meant that the 3 dragon corpses were extremely well preserved, and their divinity was preserved, otherwise they would have been swallowed up long ago. You must know that the current black soil can devour the 3-veined heavenly sages without much effort, but swallowing them is so laborious, which means that their fleshly bodies are too strong. The stronger the physical body, the greater the benefit to the chaotic space. Long Chen came to the bottom of the dragon corpse and poked the dragon scales under the dragon corpse with a knife. Long Chen found that the dragon scales next to the black soil had begun to soften and could be easily cut with a knife, which meant that the dragon corpse would not last long. Long Chen looked up at the void and saw the endless robbery clouds covering the entire chaotic space. In the robbery clouds, the thunder light bursts, and the dragon incarnated by Lei Linger was still fighting with the dragons. However, at this time, Lei Linger was no longer being chased and killed, but began to chase down those thunder dragons in reverse. Long Chen faintly saw that there were 3 flower runes appearing on Lei Linger's head. At this time, Lei Linger has faintly had the aura of a Sanmai Tianxing powerhouse. Long Chen sighed in his heart that Lei Linger has finally ushered in his spring. I am afraid that from now on, her strength will not be affected by Huolinger. Suppressed. Long Chen felt that if Lei Linger devoured these thunder dragons and possessed the power of the heavenly vessel, even if he encountered the 3-veined heavenly sage, he would at least have the power to fight. This growth rate was astonishing. What's more, there are 3 more terrifying dragon corpses on the black soil. When they are swallowed, the power of the catastrophe they once absorbed will be released. After Lei Linger is swallowed, no one knows that she will grow into to what extent. Lei Linger was madly fighting those thunder dragons, and Long Chen didn't bother her. When he looked at the place where Huolinger was, he couldn't help but stunned. I am obedient. Chapter 50-90. When he heard that voice, Long Chen was ecstatic and saw Yaolinger incarnated as a beautiful girl, standing on the Qianquan cauldron. Yaolinger was wearing a long bronze dress and even her hair was bronze. She looked at Long Chen with big eyes. When Long Chen turned around, she had already thrown herself into Long Chen's arms. Brother Long Chen, I miss you so much. Yaolinger threw herself into Long Chen's arms, sobbing, holding Long Chen's waist with both hands, for fear that Long Chen would fly away. Isn't Brother Long Chen always by your side? Long Chen smiled and comforted. But I'm afraid that once I fall asleep, I'll never wake up. I'm afraid that Brother Long Chen thinks that I'm useless, so he will let me sleep all the time. Yao Linger choked. Hearing Yao Linger's words, Long Chen felt a burst of guilt. For a long time, he really forgot about Yao Linger. If it wasn't for the Qingkuan cauldron this time, Long Chen would never have thought of finding a suitable pill stove for Yao Linger to live in. When he thought of this, seeing Yao Linger crying bitterly, Long Chen immediately felt ashamed. Don't cry, you don't have to sleep in the future, my brother still expects you to help me. Long Chen said to Yao Linger with a smile. Only then did Yao Linger stop crying. I will work hard, I will continue to become stronger, and I will never be a burden to Brother Long Chen again. Nonsense, you are so good, you have always been my biggest helper. Long Chen said. To know that these two biggest words hit Yao Linger's heart, she suddenly became happy. I want to help Brother Long Chen, refining a lot of medicinal pills, and helping Brother Long Chen beat bad guys. Long Chen nodded. Yao Linger took control of this cauldron. It was the imperial soldier, and her help to him in the future would be immeasurable. This cauldron will be named after you in the future. It's called Yaoyue Cauldron, okay? Long Chen pointed at the imitation Qiankuan cauldron. That's great. Yao Linger was immediately excited to be named after her. Buzz, with a wave of Yao Linger's jade hand, the Yaoyue cauldron rose into the air, and countless runes circulated on it, and there was a trace of imperial power hanging down. You have to take it easy, you have to continue to adapt to it, don't rashly use the aura of the emperor, or you will be easily injured. Qiankuan Ding warned. Hearing Qiankuan cauldron's warning, Yao Linger suddenly became orderly. She seemed to be very afraid of Qiankuan cauldron and returned directly to Qiankuan cauldron, as if a student met a strict teacher and did not dare to be presumptuous at all. Senior, you have worked hard. Long Chen said. This is nothing, I didn't consume much of the power of the source, I just hope that she will grow up quickly, and then you will have a powerful imperial soldier by your side. After all, because of my own attributes, I have too many restrictions, and I can't help you many times, but it is different. It can be used as a weapon, and it can be used as a weapon without fear of killing. Qiankuan Ding said. Can it help me kill? Long Chen was shocked. Of course, after my transformation, it has become a demon cauldron which can not only refine demon pills, but also defend against enemies. However, it is not a killer after all, there is no attack method, but it can be used to smash people, which you are very good at. Qiankuan Ding said. Long Chen smiled, but this is true, Long Chen used Qiankuan cauldron to smash a lot of people before, and he used this trick very well. In addition with it, it can also hide my identity, and the breath of Yao Linger, and I can switch freely, so that others can't tell the difference. Qiankuan Ding said. Long Chen admired it, Qiankuan Ding thought so thoughtfully, and the news that Long Chen had Qiankuan Ding in his hands must have begun to spread. However, many people are still doubting the authenticity. Now they have obtained the high imitation of Yaoyue cauldron. Once used, it can hide people's eyes and ears and make others mistakenly think that what Long Chen got is an imitation, not the real Qiankuan cauldron. It is very important to Long Chen. After Qiankuan cauldron finished speaking, he continued to teach Yao Linger. At this time, Qiankuan cauldron was teaching Yao Linger how to control Yaoyue cauldron at a micro level. And alchemy is the key to the complete fusion of Yao Linger and Yao Yuding. Control and fusion are two levels, and the gap between the two is huge. Only after the complete fusion can Yao Linger be considered to have a body. After she has a body, she can use the Yaoyue cauldron to make herself grow rapidly. Only when her strength matches the Yaoyue cauldron can she play the true role of the imperial soldier. Strength, this road is easy to say but difficult to do. Yao Linger finally got a chance. She is very hardworking and serious, and has Qiankuan Ding to teach her. She is not struggling to learn, and the progress has far exceeded Qiankuan Ding's expectations. With the Qiankuan cauldron demon Linger, Long Chen doesn't need to worry about it. He came to the black soil. At this time, 3/10,000 of miles of giant dragons were crawling on the black soil. The body was not swallowed, and there were even signs of swallowing. Seeing this scene, Long Chen was overjoyed. which meant that the 3 dragon corpses were extremely well preserved, and their divinity was preserved, otherwise they would have been swallowed up long ago. You must know that the current black soil can devour the 3-veined heavenly sages without much effort, but swallowing them is so laborious, which means that their fleshly bodies are too strong. The stronger the physical body, the greater the benefit to the chaotic space. Long Chen came to the bottom of the dragon corpse and poked the dragon scales under the dragon corpse with a knife. Long Chen found that the dragon scales next to the black soil had begun to soften and could be easily cut with a knife, which meant that the dragon corpse would not last long. Long Chen looked up at the void and saw the endless robbery clouds covering the entire chaotic space. In the robbery clouds, the thunder light bursts, and the dragon incarnated by Lei Linger was still fighting with the dragons. However, at this time, Lei Linger was no longer being chased and killed, but began to chase down those thunder dragons in reverse. Long Chen faintly saw that there were 3 flower runes appearing on Lei Linger's head. At this time, Lei Linger has faintly had the aura of a Sanmai Tianxing powerhouse. Long Chen sighed in his heart that Lei Linger has finally ushered in his spring. I am afraid that from now on, her strength will not be affected by Huolinger. Suppressed. Long Chen felt that if Lei Linger devoured these thunder dragons and possessed the power of the heavenly vessel, even if he encountered the 3-veined heavenly sage, he would at least have the power to fight. This growth rate was astonishing. What's more, there are 3 more terrifying dragon corpses on the black soil. When they are swallowed, the power of the catastrophe they once absorbed will be released. After Lei Linger is swallowed, no one knows that she will grow into to what extent. Lei Linger was madly fighting those thunder dragons, and Long Chen didn't bother her. When he looked at the place where Huolinger was, he couldn't help but stunned. I am obedient. Chapter 5091. When Long Chen came to the area of the ancient Fusang tree, above the forest area, 18 huge golden crows on the 18 ancient Fusang trees were circling and dancing. In less than 3 days, the 18 3-legged golden crows were already over 100 zhang long. Their feathers were made of gold, their wings were spread out, and they were incomparable. These 3 Jinwu clans are much more beautiful than the real Jinwu clan powerhouses. Although they are still in the growth stage, the power of flames is extremely pure. 18 golden crows danced, forming a flame formation. In the center of the formation, Huolinger formed a seal with both hands, and a divine ring emerged from behind, and a huge golden crow totem appeared in it. In the golden crow totem, countless runes circulated and kept surging into Huolinger's body. Long Chen knew that Huolinger was comprehending the secrets of the Jinwu clan. She said that as long as these golden crows grew up, when they awakened their magical powers, she could follow them to learn. The magical powers of the Jinwu clan were hers. Long Chen watched for a while. His heart was full of shock, and at the same time he felt relieved. Huolinger and Lei Linger grew up with him all the way. Now they have really grown up, and their future strength is immeasurable and may even surpass. In the chaotic space, Huolinger is cultivating the magical powers of the Jinwu clan, Lei Linger is devouring the thunder of the catastrophe, Yaolinger is working hard to adapt to the new body, and even the black soil is trying to swallow the 3 giant dragons. So far, Long Chen is the most idle. Just as Long Chen was about to exit the chaotic space, suddenly Chen Kuanding came to Long Chen and said, Yaolinger is almost there. She digests everything I taught her, and she can completely control Yaoyue Cauldron. Don't be idle either, let's refine the Nikhong Dan with me, just take it as a preview first. Didn't you say that I can't refine it now? Long Chen said. What I said is that you can't use it now, not that you can't refine it. Chen Kuanding said. After finishing speaking without giving Long Chen a chance to refute, he directly took out the precious medicine for refining Niechong Dan. Long Chen looked at it. Good guy, the emotional universe is even more anxious than him. All the precious medicines have already been refined into medicinal powder by it, and the refining step has been completed long ago, and he only needs to cooperate with the alchemy. Let me tell you, Niechong Dan is different from other medicinal herbs, and it cannot be refined with ordinary flames. Chen Kuanding said. Do I have to use Skyfire? Long Chen asked. Skyfire doesn't work either. Looking at the whole world, only people from the 9-star lineage can refine this Niechong Dan, even the great Brahma can't refine it. Qiankuan Cauldron said. So strong? No, isn't the 9-star lineage the strongest warrior? I've never heard of alchemy. Longchen asked. The 9 stars in one lineage are basically warriors, but the 9 stars one lineage also has branches, and one branch is dedicated to alchemy for the 9 stars one lineage, and the leader of that lineage and the great Brahma. Forget it, don't talk about this, it doesn't make any sense, you just need to know that the flame you need to make Nichong Dan is your star's fire. Qiankuan Ding said. Long Chen hates others to speak half of it, either you finish it or you don't say it, but for Qiankuan Cauldron, Long Chen has nothing to do. What is the fire of the stars? Long Chen asked. The purple air flows in your star sea, condensing the fire with the air, burning the power of the stars, and using the fire of the sun as the seed to ignite it. Try it. The said door. Boom! Suddenly, the sea of stars in Long Chen's Danton trembled, and the endless stars suddenly lit up. The violent force was like a volcanic eruption, and it was out of control in an instant, and Long Chen was frightened. Idiot, I'm letting you ignite, not letting you detonate. Long Chen's action also shocked Qiankuan Ding, and hurriedly helped Long Chen suppress it. After a lot of fuss, Xinghai returned to calm, and at that moment, Long Chen was so frightened that his face turned white. He did not expect that Xinghai would lose control. With this experience, Long Chen ran Xinghai again. This time Long Chen didn't dare to be so reckless. The purple air above Xinghai rose and floated in the air, and Long Chen ignited it with the fire of the sun. Buzz, this time, above the sea of stars, a sea of purple flames appeared. The flames rose and fell with the flow of the sea of stars, but they were vast but not violent. Seeing this scene, Long Chen finally breathed a sigh of relief. In fact, with Long Chen's control of the power of the stars, it can be easily achieved. Qiankuan Ding didn't take it seriously, so what he said was a little vague, thinking that Long Chen could understand it, and Long Chen also thought it was very simple, so he didn't pay attention to the details, and it almost happened. Fortunately, everything has passed. When the purple air is ignited, Long Chen can control them soon. This flame is controlled by the power of stars, so it is also called the fire of stars by Qiankuan Ding. However, this flame belongs to internal fire and can only be used for alchemy, not for attacking others, because it is not easy to control. Once backfire, Xinghai explodes, Long Chen will be blown to pieces, this is no joke. After some tests by Qiankuan Ding, it was found that Long Chen really mastered the fire of the stars, and Qiankuan Ding began to cooperate with Long Chen to concoct alchemy. Buzz, when the first precious medicine entered the cauldron, Long Chen found that there was a little purple starlight in the medicine powder. Long Chen had never seen such a situation for so many years. It's not surprising, the fire of the stars has the power of your stars, and the precious medicine has also experienced the nourishment of the sun, the moon and the stars to grow to this stage, so I feel it. The fire of your stars should not only extract the medicinal essence, but also activate the power of the stars absorbed by it. Otherwise, you will not be able to refine the nirvana pill. Qiankuan Ding said. Buzzing. When a single herbal medicine enters the cauldron, under the calcination of the fire of the stars, the powder turns into a viscous liquid, and the liquid condenses into beads that keep beating in the cauldron. Some precious medicines will be turned into a moment of medicine beads, while others will be turned into dozens. Qiankuan Ding explained that some precious medicines absorb more sun and moon essence, and some precious medicines absorb less star essence, so it will appear. In this situation, some precious medicines have many different energies themselves. After refining, these energies repel each other and form an independent individual. With the continuous injection of rare medicines, more and more medicine beads were in the cauldron, and they repelled each other. The inside of the cauldron was like popping beans, with thousands of water droplets colliding and exploding. Buzz, when the last herbal medicine was poured into it, those medicine beads became quiet for a moment, but only for a moment. Long Chen saw the star pattern on each medicine bead, and their breath became violent in an instant. Chapter 5092, boom boom boom. There was a burst of noise in the Qiankuan cauldron, and the violent breath made even Long Chen feel frightened. Those medicine beads were just like summoning the stars and battle bodies. Their power was instantly increased by 1,000 times, and tens of thousands of medicine beads were like meteors, colliding wildly in the Qiankuan cauldron and fighting each other. At this time, the medicine beads in the Qiankuan cauldron were madly fighting, and many visions were rising. Some precious medicines even summoned their own visions, some magical dragons and snakes turned into various beasts, and even magical powers appeared, which was intense. The level is not inferior to the general battlefield. Activate the power of your spiritual blood, spiritual roots, and spiritual bones, and start to bind them. The speed of becoming a pill depends on the suppression of your 3 powers. If the strength is insufficient, it is possible for them to fight for 10 days and a half months. Moreover, they attack each other, allowing only a momentary time, and then must be suppressed quickly, otherwise the divine energy will be exhausted by them, affecting the grade of the medicine pill. Qiankuan Ding said, "Ilgo, if I didn't get back the spirit blood, spirit root, and spirit bone, wouldn't it be impossible to refine Nikhongdan at all?" Long Chen was shocked. "That's right, your spiritual blood must use the 7-colored supreme blood, which is your source blood. Attention, at this time, you must use it with all your heart, not only to balance the power of the spiritual blood, the spiritual root, the spiritual bone, but also it is also necessary to control the intensity of the fire of the stars. Whether it is the size of the power or the strength of the flame, it will affect the quality of the medicine pill." Qiankuan Cauldron said, "This is too difficult." Long Chen was taken aback. Whether it is the fire of the stars or the power of the 3 spirits, it is a power that he has never used before. Now that he suddenly uses it, he has to control it at the micro level. This is an impossible task. Before your strength was reached, I didn't dare to let you ignite the fire of the stars, and I didn't dare to let you use the power of the 3 spirits. To be honest, now you haven't reached the standard for refining Nikhongdan. However, we are now preparing and adapting, but even if you are preparing, you can't be sloppy and try your best to do your best." Qiankuan Ding said solemnly. Long Chen nodded, his hands were imprinted, the dragon blood/spirit root/spirit bone trembled at the same time, and his chest glowed. That was where his supreme bone was, when the colorful supreme blood and a sleeping mass in the dantian were swept away. Awakening, the 2 forces were concentrated on Long Chen's chest at the same time. Long Chen suddenly snorted. When the 3 forces blended in the supreme bone, Long Chen felt a sharp pain in his chest, and Qiankuan Ding told Long Chen that this was a normal phenomenon, and that his strength was very stable, and the degree of fusion was higher than it imagined. And better, when the 3 forces merged, a vortex was formed on Long Chen's chest. At first, the vortex was only the size of a mung bean. Over time, it grew to the size of a fist. After reaching this level, it no longer grew, and there were 3 forces in the vortex. Excited, Long Chen tried to get them out of the body. At this time is the most difficult time for Long Chen. He is dedicated to using it, and it is also a power that he is not good at. Long Chen gritted his teeth and insisted. Buzz, the vortex in his chest trembled suddenly, and Long Chen finally found the trick to control the power of the 3 spirits, and the power of the 3 spirits penetrated into the Qiankuan cauldron. "It's done." Long Chen was overjoyed. He succeeded at once, and he admired himself a little. On the one hand, Long Chen controlled the power of the 3 spirits to press down, and at the same time increased the energy of the fire of the stars. At this time, there was no technical content, and it was completely violent. Boom boom boom. However, Long Chen found that his violent crushing was met with violent resistance. When his power was injected, those medicine beads no longer fought within each other, but worked together to kill him. Long Chen suppressed 7 times in a row and failed, until the 8th time he pressed down with all his strength. The whole universe roared, and the power of the 3 spirits finally suppressed them. After suppressing them, the endless medicine beads suddenly merged rapidly. It seems that under the pressure of Long Chen, they felt the crisis and began to resist together. When they merged, Long Chen withdrew the power of the three spirits, and at this time, Long Chen had already felt a burst of dizziness, and at the same time controlled the power of the three spirits and the fire of the stars, which was too much for him, and he couldn't bear it. When the precious medicines are in a group, it is the beginning of Chengdan. After that, Chen Kuan-ding will help him deal with it. He only needs to control the fire of the stars. Boom! After a stick of incense, there was a muffled sound in the Qiankuan cauldron. Long Chen opened the Qiankuan cauldron, and 9 medicinal pills lay in the cauldron. At first, when he saw the 9 medicinal pills, Long Chen was full of joy. But when he saw the luster of the medicinal pill and the spots on his skin, Long Chen couldn't help but smile bitterly. How many years have passed, the first time a low-grade pill was refined? Long Chen immediately took out a medicinal pill and glanced at it. The medicinal pill was supposed to be full of stars, and the splendid pattern was shining brightly. But now, this medicine pill is like a sparrow egg. Not only is it irregular in shape, but it is also full of freckles. It's as ugly as it gets. Long Chen can't even believe it. This is the medicine pill he refined. Being able to become a pill at one time has far exceeded my expectations. Don't underestimate this low-grade pill. Even if it is a low-grade pill, it is also a nirvana pill. Chen Kuan-ding said. Suddenly, a medicinal pill was ejected by the Qiankuan cauldron and flew directly to a tree of lunar Yin, and was blocked by the flames on the tree of lunar Yin as soon as it approached the tree of lunar Yin. It stands to reason that ordinary medicinal herbs, contaminated with the fire of Tai Yin, will turn into nothingness in an instant, but the medicinal herbs traveled thousands of miles from the fire of Tai Yin and burst open near the branches. There was a loud noise, the void was twisted, the tree of lunar Yin shook for a while, and within the scope of the explosion of Nichongdan, countless branches were scattered, and the appearance stunned Long Chen. So exaggerated? This medicinal pill has all caught up with the bursting ball created by Guoran. Isn't this too terrifying? You know, this is a low-grade nirvana Chongdan. This low-grade pinching pill burst open, and it can blow up the powerhouse below the 5-star destiny. If it is high-grade or top-grade, wouldn't its power be even more frightening? Can the Son of Destiny withstand it? Wait, Senior, is this thing really edible? Long Chen suddenly thought of a question. If the elixir that can blow up the Son of Destiny is swallowed, can it still survive? Thinking of this, Long Chen's scalp felt numb for a while. That's why you have to wait for you to become immortal before you can condense Nirvana Chongqing. Chen Kuan-ding said. Don't look down on these medicinal pills, they are very important to you. Even if you are advanced to immortality, you need to start with low-grade medicinal pills, adapt little by little, and come gradually. Chen Kuan-ding said. It was only then that Long Chen suddenly realized that the strength was low, and the level of the refined pills was also low. Low also had the advantage of being low. Long Chen took a rest and continued refining with Qiankuan cauldron. The reason why Chen Kuan-ding wants Long Chen to keep refining with it is to absorb and control his power of 3 veins and power of spark. Because it has recognized Long Chen as the main body, when there is no time for alchemy at ordinary times, it can extract Long Chen's 2-power alchemy by itself, without Long Chen's personal participation, saving Long Chen a lot of time. Moreover, these 2 powers, Long Chen usually does not use very much, and Chen Kuan-ding occasionally practices pills, and it will not affect Long Chen's combat power. A little bit of time passed, and after Long Chen and Chen Kuan-ding made a total of 17 pots of pills, they realized that 7 days had passed. At this time, Chen Kuan-ding no longer needed Long Chen's assistance and could cooperate with Huolinger. Self-refined. On this day, Baiying Xue knocked on Long Chen's door because the door of the Heavenly Fire Demon Domain was about to open. Chapter 5093. It's finally starting. As soon as he heard that the Heavenly Fire Demon Domain was about to open, Long Chen suddenly came to the spirit, and Baiying Xue saw that Long Chen's mental state was not very good, and his face was exhausted, and he couldn't help but feel a little worried, and also complained, "What are you doing these days? You are about to enter the Skyfire Demon Realm. Your state is really worrying." In the Skyfire Demon Realm, there are many crises, all races are fighting for the front, and killing secrets are spread. If one fails, they will lose their lives. Everyone else is recharged, but Long Chen doesn't take it seriously. It's okay, give me an hour or two and he'll be able to recover. I don't believe it. After they open the door, they will let us in directly. Long Chen took a pill and walked out with Bai Xue. Why is it turned on and doesn't let us go in directly? Bai Xue was taken aback. You don't understand what I mean. Before the door opens, they will definitely talk a lot of nonsense and a bunch of rituals, enough for me to return to my peak state. Long Chen said. At this time, Feng Yu and Hu Xiaoyu also came out. When they saw the two again, their temperaments were completely different, especially Feng Yu, who was obviously merging with the phoenix marrow, and there was a trace of ancient Feng Wei on his body. Her combat power should have improved a lot. Once she enters the heavenly fire demon realm, with the help of the power of heavenly fire, coupled with the baptism of heavenly tribulation, her strength will soar to an extremely terrifying height. At the same time, all the powerhouses of the White Dragon clan were ready. Each of them was full of energy and high-spirited. From their eyes, Long Chen saw firmness and tenacity, and also saw the spirit of returning home. Long Chen sighed in his heart, this is the real dragon family. People can have no arrogance, but they must not be proud, and they can stand upright without fear of death, and they will not bow to others because of their interests. In addition to Feng Yu, the Bailong family also had dozens of children of destiny. Obviously, they had already prepared for sacrifice. The sons and daughters of the White Dragon clan, you are the pride of the White Dragon clan, and I am here waiting for your triumphant return. Bai Yingxian and all the elders of the White Dragon clan stood on the Wanlong nest and looked at Bai Yingxue et al. There is encouragement in their eyes, but also reluctance. The Skyfire demon realm is extremely dangerous. Let's not talk about the dangers in it. It is only in the face of threats from various clans, and even in the face of threats from the Dragon clan. I don't know how many white dragons there are. A family of people died here. But this is impossible. The Bailong family must shoulder their mission. When the crisis comes, someone must stand up and sound the alarm. For that bell, they must do it even if they pay all their lives. Senior, don't worry, I will do my best to protect the Bailong family. Long Chen looked at Bai Yingxian and patted his chest. Bai Yingxian nodded. With Long Chen around, she felt at ease, and at the same time told Long Chen to be careful. Under the watchful eyes of Bai Yingxian and others, Bai Yingxue led the disciples to salute Bai Yingxian and others, and then resolutely walked towards Hantian City. When the White Dragon clan walked out of the territory, there were already roaring roars and endless dragon roars. The other dragon clans were also conducting farewell ceremonies, and the ceremony was extremely grand and solemn. In contrast, the trip of the White Dragon clan is so low-key. When the White Dragon clan travels, there are already many dragon troops dispatched around, and the momentum is mighty. In comparison, the White Dragon clan is the weakest. Not to compare with the most powerful Minglong clan, even compared with some other weaker dragon clan, the number is far inferior. However, the White Dragon clan came from elites, and their momentum was like a rainbow, but there were no people who didn't have long eyes to provoke them. The Bailong family was led by Long Chen and Bai Yingxue. Long Chen held a flame stick, and the flames circulated around him, making him extremely arrogant. The news of the dragon powerhouses is also well informed. Long Chen conflicted with Huang Wudao on the Hantian Square, and withstood the suppression of the power of the emperor, so that countless people saw the horror of Long Chen and did not dare to provoke it easily. Although before, many Dragon Clan looked down on the White Dragon Clan and wanted to bully the White Dragon Clan to show their strength, but after that time, they were completely afraid. Although no one has seen Huang Wudao's strength, it is the son of the emperor. Long Chen dares to provoke even the son of the emperor, which shows that he must have that strength. Today, in the entire Dragon Clan, it seems that only the Minglong clan is still hostile to the White Dragon Clan, and the other dragon clans keep their distance from the White Dragon clan. Because there are too many people, and they are moving forward in a concentrated manner, the teleportation array cannot be used, and everyone needs to fly directly to the Cold Sky domain. Boom! Thousands of dragon army roared towards the cold sky territory. The scene was extremely spectacular. Seeing this scene, Long Chen's blood couldn't help but heat up. At this time, the sky was full of black energy, and a team covered in black energy rushed up from the rear. That team was the Minglong family. Originally, the White Dragon clan was in front, and the other dragon clan did not dare to surpass it, so the White Dragon clan had always maintained the lead, while the Minglong clan came out late. The Minglong Wushang led the strong men of the Minglong clan to charge up. The number of the Minglong clan was more than 10 times that of the Bailong clan, and there were thousands of strong men at the level of the Son of Destiny. Their overall strength could be completely crushed. The White Dragon family. After Minglong Wushang caught up, he looked at Long Chen and Buying Xue with a majestic look, and a mocking expression appeared on the corner of his mouth. By Dalyu, I don't think you look good. Are you approaching your deadline? Fuck off Nima's egg, wasn't it killed by your Minglong clan? Long Chen scolded directly. What makes everyone strange is that Minglong Wushang was not angry, but sneered calmly. You are nearing death, so you are engulfed in death energy. What does it have to do with my Minglong clan? Fart, the 3 dragons I bought last time were not fresh. After I finished drinking the soup, I have been having diarrhea until now. Do you think it has anything to do with you? Long Chen said angrily. Who? Long Chen's words almost made Minglong Wushang run wild, and Long Chen's words can always accurately hit the key points of the other party. Last time, because of the dragon corpse, the Minglong family had already hated Long Chen to the bone, and could not wait to eat its flesh and sleep its skin. Now that the story of Long Chen is revisited, all the powerhouses of the Minglong family are beginning to condense their breath, and the war is about to break out. Long Chen glared at the powerhouses of the Minglong family. He didn't even look at it because he knew that he couldn't fight because he was about to enter the Skyfire Demon realm, and there was no need to fight here, they would endure it. You Bailong clan wait for me, only one of our 2 clans can walk out of the Heavenly Fire Demon realm alive. Minglong Wushang gritted his teeth, and then roared away with the powerhouses of the Minglong family. They dared not walk side by side with Long Chen, and he was afraid that he would not be able to control his emotions. If you say that, the Minglong family may be wiped out. Looking at the back of Minglong Wushang leaving, a smile appeared on the corner of Long Chen's mouth. Chapter 5094 The road you walk, the bridge you walk, should be named after your own name? What a shameless person to do this! When Lao Tzu conferred the gods, all the places Lao Tzu walked would be named after Lao Tzu. Long Chen was full of disdain. At this time, Han Qianye continued to tell that Brahma Pill Valley has always been guarding the Heavenly Fire Sanctuary. Unfortunately, during the Chaos War, when monsters invaded, the Brahma gods banned the Skyfire Sanctuary with his supreme mana. However, at the time of the ban, it was destroyed by the terrifying existence of monsters, resulting in 2 entrances to the Tianhua Sanctuary, one in the cold sky, and the other in the place controlled by the monsters. Because the sanctuary has been polluted by the demonic energy all the year round, the monsters began to occupy the periphery of the demonic realm on a large scale. If people want to rush into the core area, they need to kill the monsters. Hearing this, countless people were stunned. They had never heard of this before. Listening to Han Qianye's remarks, the scope of the Tianhua demon realm is huge. The core area alone is as large as the entire Cold Sky realm, and the periphery is even bigger. To unimaginable. The entire peripheral area is occupied by monsters, so if they go in, if they can't rush in, won't they all die in the hands of monsters? Moreover, in Han Qianye's description, among the monsters, there is also the existence of the children of destiny. If you are unlucky, you will encounter Sanmai Tianxing, or even more powerful monsters. Hearing this, many people's hearts began to sink, and a disdain appeared on the corner of Long Chen's mouth. Say but. Sure enough, after Han Qianye had just finished talking about the horror in the Skyfire Demon domain, he changed the topic. Although there are many dangers in the Skyfire Demon domain, I believe that no one can refuse the importance of the heavenly fire baptism. In addition, I have a passage in Brahma Pill Valley, which can directly send people into the central area of the Skyfire Demon domain. Although the central area is still half a day away from the core safe area, compared with the 3-day journey outside, the risk has been greatly reduced. What conditions do I need to use this channel? Long Chen shouted loudly. Long Chen's call shocked everyone. When the emperor spoke, who dared to interrupt? Does this guy want to live? However, Han Qianye was not angry. He glanced at Long Chen and said, yes, to use this channel, you need certain conditions. Because this passage was built by Lord God Zun, and it was covered with the divine splendor of his old man. Only believers of Lord Brahma who believed in the divine brilliance could pass through. Then if I want to join now, is it too late? Long Chen said again. Buying Xue was startled. She couldn't believe her ears. What was Long Chen doing? Is he crazy? Han Qianye shook his head and said, I'm sorry, it's too late. You've all been here before and you've all looked up to the two gods, but I can't see the slightest fluctuation of divine power in you. That is to say, you are not godly believers. But if you can't do it, it doesn't mean that others can't do it. Among you, there are many people who have a relationship with the Lord God. I sensed the fluctuation of divine power in you. You may be able to enter the channel and directly teleport to the middle of the Skyfire demon domain. What I'm talking about is maybe, not absolute. Whether it's possible or not depends on your good fortune. Well, what can be said? I've finished. Han Qianye stretched out his hands and slowly made a seal. Buzz, the two statues glowed, and between the two statues, a gate of space was formed. When the gate of space emerged, a little bit of starlight appeared on countless people in the square. Can I enter the passage? Someone was very excited when they saw the divine brilliance on their body. Han Qianye opened his mouth and said, those who have divine brilliance on their bodies, prepare before coming to the passage. You have either worshipped Lord Shinzuan, or you have believed in Lord Shinzuan in your heart, so you have won the favor of Lord Brahma. But if your heart is not sincere, you may not be able to enter the channel, so everything depends on your own creation. As Han Qianye's voice fell, 12 old men walked out. To everyone's surprise, these 12 people were all 3-lineage heavenly saint-level powerhouses. They were lined up in 2 rows, 6 on each side. Standing on both sides of the passage, instructing those with divine brilliance to come and line up. Long Chen couldn't help pouting when he saw this scene. I knew that you had this kind of trick. In order to attract believers, you have taken great pains. Those with divine radiance on their bodies have all eaten the Brahma Pill Valley medicinal pill. The medicinal pill already has the power of impression, and it is still within the envelope of the idol. When people see the statue, they will feel shocked and worshipped. At this time, the effect of the medicinal herb will be stimulated, and people will become convinced of Brahma. And some people have firm beliefs, even if they have eaten the medicine pill, they can resist the power of bewitching, but at this time, they have a hint of heartbeat, which is related to their lives. Long Chen looked at countless people and excitedly ran to the channel to line up. Long Chen was amused. This channel was deliberately used by Brahma Pill Valley to accommodate believers. Anyone who is sincere or not is nonsense. As long as they want, anyone can enter. They deliberately treat them differently to make those people feel superior to others, thus making others envious. Soon, tens of millions of people came to line up in front of the gate of that space, while others could only watch helplessly. However, when they were queuing up, they deliberately left a space passage. Bai Yingxue responded slowly and asked Long Chen what he was doing. Long Chen told her that all this was a routine. The reason why Long Chen talked to Han Qianye was not angry, was because Long Chen talked to him, which would make the routine more effective. Long Chen said, they deliberately created that believers are higher than ordinary people. After a while, it was the Pill Valley disciples who appeared, and that channel was reserved for the Pill Valley disciples. That means that the devout disciples are higher than the believers, and the believers are higher than the general public. The closer you get to the Dan Valley, the more benefits you will get. This is the signal that Brahma Pill Valley sends to everyone. There are 2 gods in Brahma Pill Valley, and 1 domain master is a human emperor. There are many benefits to relying on this big tree. After all, the older generation of powerhouses have been fooled a lot, and it is not easy to fool them, but it is much easier for young people to fool. Therefore, Brahma Pill Valley does not allow the older generation of powerhouses to see them off. Saying that there is no place to hold it, the order will be chaotic, that is all nonsense, and it is true that it is afraid that it will affect the flickering effect. Long Chen was originally a big flicker. He had seen too many such routines, but there was no way. They were flickers with strength, and the credibility was too high. As Long Chen just finished speaking, the void trembled. You are really amazing. When Buying Shue saw a group of figures appear, she couldn't help sighing that it was a group of young disciples wearing dangu costumes who appeared. Chapter 5095. There are only hundreds of thousands of Danga disciples, and Long Chen can't help but stay for a while. No, how can there be only so many people? Suddenly Long Chen understood. What a joke. Tianhua Divine Realm is the private plot of Brahma Pill Valley. It can be opened at any time. Why do you need to fight with so many people? According to Long Chen's calculations, most of the Brahma Pill Valley disciples have either entered the heavenly fire demon realm long ago, or have a better place to advance. The good things are definitely reserved for themselves. The disciples sent are probably just pretending. If the disciples of the Brahma Pill Valley do not come, it will make people afraid and think it is a conspiracy. Among the group of disciples, Long Chen saw an acquaintance, Hua Qianwu. At this time, Hua Qianwu was standing in the third row of the team. At this time, she looked indifferent and had a look of resentment on her face. The last time she was defeated by Long Chen, she was taken away from the Yanlong Bone Whip, and after she took off Qianfeng's feather clothes, her life was not very good. To be honest, Hua Qianwu's strength is still very strong, at least much stronger than Yi Lingxiao, Zhao Qingtian and others. Even if she loses these two magical weapons, her strength should not be underestimated. However, she is only standing in the third row of the crowd. Although there are some children of destiny behind her, it still makes Long Chen feel a little surprised. Long Chen looked at the disciples in front of her, and couldn't help but be surprised. The strength of these disciples is indeed very strong, especially the white-clothed man at the head. When Long Chen saw him, he clearly felt a strong danger. The man in white, wearing a golden crown, a gold belt around his waist, and wearing a white robe, looked extravagant. Most importantly, the white divine splendor hung down and wrapped him, making him look extremely mysterious. His breath. When he saw that man, a look of astonishment appeared in Bai Yingshi's eyes. Yes, that is the breath of the Brahma. This person is probably an important person in the Brahma Pill Valley. Long Chen nodded and said that the man's breath was exactly the same as the breath on the statue of the Brahma. This person's identity is definitely not simple. At this time, Han Qianye opened his mouth and said, "Let me introduce to you, they are the disciples of our Brahma Pill Valley. This one is Lu Fan, one of our 8 great sons of Brahma." After Han Qianye finished speaking, the man named Lu Fan turned his head to look at everyone, and clasped his fists slightly and said, "Everyone is polite. It is fortunate to be favored by the Brahma god, inheriting a Sanskrit character and becoming one of the 8 sons of Brahma. It is actually just luck." Lu Fan is ranked at the bottom of the 8 sons of Brahma, and he is the weakest among the 8 sons. He has no limit to his studies and endless ways to go to God. If he has the opportunity, he hopes to be able to discuss Taoism and study with you. Pretend, then pretend hard. Your upturned nostrils have betrayed you a long time ago. What you say is like an endorsement. Your tone is firm. In fact, no one looks down on you. Long Chen sneered when he saw Lu Fan performing. This guy's acting skills were terrible and he didn't care at all. However, the 8th son of Brahma gave Long Chen a wake-up call. There are 3,000 disciples of Brahma, and Long Chen has encountered it, but the 8th son of Brahma is the first time he has heard of it. Long Chen knows that the 3,000 disciples of Brahma are similar to a ranking, and they are not static. If their strength will be surpassed by others, their names will be robbed by others. The Son of God is not the same. This guy has the divine brilliance of Brahma, and when his eyes are flowing, Long Chen faintly sees the shadow of Brahma. It seems that the power of Brahma can come to him at any time. Generally, if I kill him, will I be able to see the Brahma? A bold idea suddenly appeared in Long Chen's mind. Just as Long Chen looked at Lu Fan and thought about it, Han Qianye said something, but Long Chen didn't pay attention to what he said, only to see Lu Fan waved at everyone, then led everyone go to the door of space. Wait a moment. Suddenly, one of the 12 Sanmai heavenly saints guarded by the gate of space stood up and reached out to block Lu Fan's way. When he heard the old man's voice, Long Chen's mouth opened for a moment. The boss? No way. Long Chen could hardly believe his eyes. The old man's face was wrinkled, his face was extremely serious, and Long Chen didn't know him. Although Long Chen didn't recognize his face, the moment he spoke, he recognized his voice, and that voice was Emon Yen. How? Suddenly stopped by the old man, Han Qianye was also stunned. Lu Fan frowned and looked at the old man. You don't move. The old man looked Lu Fan up and down, stretched out his hand, and asked him to lift his chin lightly. His face was very serious, as if he had discovered something serious. Lu Fan was also taken aback, thinking what was wrong with his face. The old man asked him to lift his chin slightly, and he lifted it slightly. Snapped. In the eyes of everyone who couldn't believe it, the old man swung his hand round and slapped Lu Fan's face hard. With a loud noise, Lu Fan was slapped by the old man. Hitong? Are you crazy? Seeing the old man slapped Lu Fan's face, the other old men roared. Ha! I'm not a passerby, don't you even know me? Suddenly, the old man waved his hand, and his hair was pulled down together with the mask, revealing a little baby fat with a smug smile. Emon Yen. When they saw that face, everyone in the Brahma Pill Valley was furious, and Emon Yen, who was madly wanted by them, actually mixed into their high-level executives, and they didn't realize it. Those strong men attacked Emon Yen at the same time, but there was one person faster than them. The vast coercion pressed down on Emon Yen like lightning, and it was the Emperor Han Qianye who shot. I'm going one step ahead. But all of them took a step slowly. Emon Yenren had already stepped into the passage, and his figure disappeared, leaving only arrogant laughter. Suddenly, a black light flew by. Be careful, someone exclaimed, but it was still too late. Puff puff. An iron shovel flew past, piercing the crowd like lightning, and many disciples in Pill Valley had no time to escape, but were stabbed by the iron shovel and blood spattered. The scene shocked everyone. Posing as a high-level Dangu, killing the disciples of Dangu in front of a powerful human emperor, this is probably no longer a bold description. At that moment, the faces of Brahma Pill Valley from top to bottom were extremely ugly, and the murderous aura in Han Qianye's eyes almost condensed into substance. Before, Emon Yen had been making troubles all over the place, killing Pill Valley powerhouses constantly, and leaving tokens to provoke them, but they couldn't catch him. Now that he is in the eyes of everyone, Brahma Pill Valley is a big shame, so many people have seen it. Little bastard, you die for me. Lu Fan was stunned by a slap, and with a roar, he stepped into the portal and went after Emon Yen directly. Chapter 5096. The others will go in together. If you encounter Emon Yen, try to stay alive. An old man shouted to the other Pill Valley disciples with a gloomy face. Yes, we will definitely capture Emon Yen alive. Those Pill Valley disciples responded loudly and immediately walked towards the door of space, disappearing from the eyes of everyone. Don't laugh so obviously. Bai Yingxue quickly reminded Long Chen when he saw Long Chen smiling like a fox. See, Brahma Pill Valley's trick has been dismantled. Long Chen said to Bai Yingxue. What trick? Bai Yingxue was stunned, not understanding what Long Chen meant. It's the trick of the passage. Did he say before that the passage was constructed by the great Brahma? And then what did he say? Long Chen asked. It is said that there is only divine brilliance on the body, belief in Brahma, and also need to be very sincere. Oh, I understand my name. Bai Yingxue suddenly realized. Emon Yen is not a person from Brahma Pill Valley at all, and he doesn't believe in any big Brahma, but he can directly enter that passage. So what Han Qianye said before is equivalent to fooling people. At this time, Han Qianye's face was as black as charcoal. He didn't say a word and looked at the remaining 11 old men coldly, and the 11 old men lowered their heads and dared not look at Han Qianye. When Long Chen saw this scene, his heart was full of joy. It's no wonder that these days, I haven't been able to find any trace of him. It stands to reason that when he comes, he will definitely find a way to make some noise to let Long Chen know. Long Chen made such a big noise. As long as he came and inquired a little, he should know where he was. Now Long Chen understands that this guy has mixed into the top of Dangu, and there is no way to contact him, otherwise it will be easy to expose, so at the last moment, he gave himself a surprise. Obviously, he already knew where he was. This guy is really cool. The original sacred and solemn ceremony was completely destroyed by Mo Nian at the last moment. The powerhouses present were not all fools. At first, they might not have understood what was going on. The channel is deceiving. But the matter has come to this point, Brahma Pill Valley can only bite the bullet and continue to act. As for what others think, they can't care so much, and even have no desire to lie. Anyway, no one dares to say anything. As a result, after all the Pill Valley disciples entered the passage, the devout believers also entered it, and no one was ejected. Boom! The small passage disappeared, and a huge space passage appeared below the two statues. This passage was prepared for everyone. With Mo Nian's mixing, Han Qinya couldn't even open his mouth at this time. What else could he say? The original lines are useless, and he doesn't have the fast reaction speed of Long Chen. How can he quickly make up a convincing reason without being full of loopholes? Since he couldn't make it up, Han Qinya simply stopped talking, and among the 11 old men, one of them was still agitated. He knew that Han Qinya was now full of anger. If he couldn't calm down, they would be all right fruit to eat. At this time, an old man stood up and said, "Everyone, I was the one who oversight and sneaked in spies and made you see the joke. That Mo Nian pretended to be our elder and stole our token, so he entered the Brahma channel." The old man bit the bullet and made up nonsense, but no matter what, he was still a little bit involved. At least he had some credible reasons. The old man continued, "Now that the second passage is open, everyone proceed according to order and do not create chaos. The order of entry this time is to draw lots to ensure fairness, and which clan to call into the passage." Dragon, the old man was talking, and the first race he called out was actually the Dragon clan. When he was the first to be called, all the Dragon clan powerhouses were refreshed. Because there are too many dragon people, everyone wants to get to the front, and some people start to get excited. Some of them start to rush forward quickly. Rush to the space channel. Pay attention to order. The old man suddenly shouted angrily. But at this time, the dragon race had already rushed into the gate of space, ignoring the old man's roar, and the old man's face turned pale with anger. What kind of dragons are born proud and aloof, that's all? The old man couldn't help snorting coldly. It's just that the chaos just now was actually caused by someone deliberately. Long Chen deliberately let Bai Yingxue make the White Dragon clan disorderly, and even some people from the Dragon clan have collided with the strong people of the Jinwu clan next door, causing even greater confusion. However, the powerhouses of the Golden Crow clan did not notice that there was one more person in their team, and that person had exactly the same breath as theirs, and they were completely attracted by the chaos, and looked at each one with a mocking expression. With the chaotic Dragon clan, no one noticed the difference. "Hey, get it done." When Long Chen mixed into the strong people of the Jinwu clan, Huolinger's complacent laughter came from her mind. She used the fire of Jinwu to cover Long Chen and let him mix in. And his position is behind the Golden Crow clan team. Although they are elite warriors of the Golden Crow clan, this time all the 8 branches of the Golden Crow clan have been summoned back. There are too many faces, and it is normal that they do not know each other. Therefore, Long Chen easily mixed in, and no one noticed the abnormality. After Long Chen mixed in, Bai Yingxue and others had rushed into the door of space and disappeared, and Long Chen was relieved. Seeing that Han Qinya didn't notice anything unusual, Long Chen began to squeeze quietly in front of the team. Although some people glared at Long Chen, he didn't dare to say anything when he saw Long Chen's vigorous aura, and gave up his position obediently. When he was in the middle, Long Chen asked Huolinger to change his breath quietly, so that Long Chen had the breath of a half-step son of destiny, which made it easier to squeeze forward. When he reached the front of the team, Long Chen changed to the aura of the Son of Destiny, so he got to the head of the team. All of them were the Son of Destiny. I have to say that there are too many Sons of Destiny in the Jinwu clan, and there was one more quietly, and no one noticed him. At this time, all the dragon powerhouses rushed into the gate of space like a torrent. Fortunately, the gate of space was large enough. In the time of half a stick of incense, the place where the dragon clan was located was already in open space. The next demon, remember not to disrupt the order, and don't be laughed at. The old man shouted loudly. With this reminder, although the demon race is still chaotic, it is much better than the dragon race. The demon race is followed by the monster race. When he heard the name of the monster race, Long Chen did not respond, but the strong people of the Golden Crow have already started to get restless. I forgot, the Jinwu clan belongs to the demon clan. As soon as the demon clan moved, Long Chen immediately followed the strong men of the Jinwu clan and rushed to the gate together. When approaching the gate, Long Chen looked at Han Qinye who was standing in front of the gate, and when he was about to pass him by, Long Chen suddenly moved, and the person rushed towards Han Qinye like a bolt of lightning, and a big ear scraper slapped it. Old force, let you press me with momentum. Chapter 5097. At this time, Han Qinye was reaching into a wooden barrel to draw lots. The name he caught was the next race to enter the gate of space. He grabbed the previous order to show justice and fairness. When he grabbed a ball of paper and was about to open it to read the text inside, Long Chen had already rushed in front of him. Han Qinye, the domain owner of the Cold Sky territory, a dignified and powerful emperor, never thought that one day, a small disciple of the divine venerable realm would dare to attack him. He had no defense at all. When he reacted, Long Chen slapped him. It's been slapped in his face. Snapped, a loud bang resounded throughout the square, and at that moment, everyone was stunned, and someone dared to slap the emperor in the face. Those disciples of the Golden Crow clan had their eyes bulging out when they saw their clan hit Han Qinye. Long Chen slapped Han Qinye's face firmly, but Han Qinye was too strong. This powerful slap only made his face slightly crooked. The dust flew out. What are you doing? Kill him. The powerhouses of the Jinwu clan were all terrified and dared to attack the domain master of the Cold Sky domain. When this crime fell, the entire Jinwu clan could not bear it. The extinguishing fire lotus, however, before they could take action, a coquettish roar came, and a huge flaming lotus flower bloomed from the powerhouses of the Jinwu clan. The lotus blossoms for tens of thousands of miles exploded, and the unprepared Jinwu clan powerhouses were instantly swallowed up into nothingness. This shocking change shocked everyone. People looked at the door of space and saw a man in a black robe, looking at Han Qinye with a proud face. Old guy, it's not bad to be slapped in the face. Die. Han Qinye opened his big hands and grabbed Long Chen fiercely. As a result, Long Chen stepped into the space channel in one step, and his claws were empty. Boom! With a loud bang, the void was crushed by Han Qinye's claws, and the terrifying aura was surging, and the whole world was shaking. Dragon dust. Han Qinye gritted his teeth. He recognized the black-robed man. After all, he was the main target of Brahma Pill Valley. He could not have known it. Han Qinye was so angry that Emon Yen slapped Lu Fan in the face before, which had already dulled his face, but Long Chen was so arrogant that he slapped him directly. At that moment he was going crazy. Killing intent surged in his eyes, and he looked at the disciples of the Jinwu clan. After all, Long Chen was posing as a disciple of the Jinwu clan, and his anger was about to be vented on them. However, when he saw that the Jinwu family had been emptied of most of his disciples by that one blow, the world-destroying fire lotus had left only a few dozen of the more than 7,000 sons of destiny, but he could no longer vent his anger. The disciples of the Jinwu clan did not expect spies to join the team, and Huolinger had already started accumulating power in the Jinwu clan. Because she controlled the power of the Golden Crow, others did not guard against her at all, and Huolinger knew what kind of power of flame would cause more damage to the Golden Crow. As a result, this blow completely killed the Golden Crow. More than 7,000 sons of destiny and hundreds of thousands of core disciples were killed by Huolinger, not because they were not strong, but because they were not prepared at all. The dozens of people who escaped their lives were all the top powerhouses of the Jinwu clan, but even so, everyone was still injured, and they were burnt to the skin and hairless by the flames, which was horrific. Han Qinya wanted to slap all the disciples of the Jinwu clan to death, but they were all so miserable he immediately knew that the Jinwu clan was also a victim, and the slap could not go on. One of the obedient dogs. Everyone immediately entered the heavenly fire demon realm, chased down Long Chen, lifted Long Chen's head, and rewarded the emperor's divine soldier. The power of his family will be free to enjoy all the medicinal pills in the Pill Valley for 1,000 years. Han Qinya shouted angrily. Human sovereign soldier? Millennium free use of medicinal pills? Hearing this reward, the geniuses present went crazy. They rushed to the gate of space like meteors. The gate of space for tens of thousands of miles became extremely crowded in an instant. For the reward, they all became crazy. Long Chen, Mo Nian, you two little beasts, wait for the old man. If the old man doesn't believe you, you won't come out. Han Qinya gritted his teeth and filled with murderous aura. This time he was really angry. Countless Tianjiao rushed to the gate of space frantically, and there was no order at this time. Let them rush frantically. In less than a stick of incense, the entire square was instantly empty. Block the entire cold sky territory, and don't let the inside and outside go in. If you let these two little beasts run away, you all cut off your heads. Han Qinya snorted and disappeared. As for the other 11 old men, their faces turned pale, they glanced at each other and left one after another. At that moment, the entire cold sky region was shrouded in a cloud, and the atmosphere was frighteningly tense. Wow, 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 success, success. Long Chen didn't know where he was, and he shouted excitedly just after being teleported out. Originally, Long Chen didn't plan to make any big moves, he just wanted to quietly come in with Bai Yingxue and others. However, Mo Nian pretended arrogantly once, if he didn't come again, the next time we met, he would definitely be laughed at by this guy. Therefore, after Long Chen pretended to be forced from Mo Nian, he thought about how to express himself, not to mention that he must surpass Mo Nian, but at least to express himself, otherwise Mo Nian would say that he was a coward. However, when God actually favored Long Chen, Han Qinya was not at the door, but above the crowd, and Long Chen could not attack him at all. I don't know why, when the demon started to enter the gate of space, he came to the gate of space. Long Chen saw the opportunity and calculated the distance. Still very confident. Just when the Jinwu clan was in action, Han Qinya was distracted to draw the lot, which was equivalent to creating an opportunity for Long Chen. At that distance, even if he was prepared, he might not be able to avoid Long Chen's slap, let alone. Under distraction? Long Chen was sent in, he couldn't help laughing, and he was in a very comfortable mood. What is it that you Mo Nian slapped the son of God, brother directly slapped the emperor, who is more arrogant? Knowing that Mo Nian is coming, Long Chen is completely relieved. The next step is to see how to find a way to merge with Mo Nian. This guy has a lot of ideas, and he has been against Brahma Pill Valley for a long time. Brahma Pill Valley's understanding must be deeper than his. Brother Long Chen, come and see. In the chaotic space, there was the sound of Huolinger's scream, calling Long Chen loudly. When Long Chen came to the chaotic space, he couldn't help but open his mouth. Chapter 5098. In the chaotic space, the entire ancient forest of Fusang was burning wildly. Long Chen was startled and thought it was on fire. But if you look closely, there are at least 2 three-legged golden crows on each ancient hibiscus tree. The ancient hibiscus tree seems to have grown old, nourishing them with the purest flame essence. The essence of ancient hibiscus trees needs to be self-purified by burning flames. Therefore, there will be a collective burning scene. 3,000 ancient Fusang trees are burning at the same time. The scene is extremely terrifying, and even Long Chen is startled. These golden crow totems all came from Huolinger's blow to destroy the world's fire lotus. I have to say that Huolinger is now more and more shrewd, and she will do everything clearly. Because Long Chen wants to slap Han Qianye in the face, Long Chen can only leave it to Huolinger to deal with the murder. After all, slapping Han Qianye is an extremely dangerous thing. Long Chen didn't dare to be distracted. Huolinger's attack almost wiped out all the children of destiny, and even Long Chen was stunned at the time. Even if he and Huolinger cooperated with this move, it is estimated that the power is the same. That is to say, the current Firelinger was so powerful that he didn't need his assistance. Hoo-hoo. Suddenly, the totems on the ancient hibiscus trees vibrated slowly and then turned into golden crows the size of butterflies. Under the nourishment of the ancient hibiscus trees, they were hatched. As soon as they were born, they began to dance around the ancient hibiscus trees, as if children were laughing and chasing beside their mothers and had a great time. This time you're going to be prosperous. Long Chen couldn't help sighing when he saw the golden crow dancing in pieces. Hee, Brother Long Chen will let me protect you in the future. Huolinger smiled and said confidently, Okay, you will be your brother's bodyguard in the future. Long Chen smiled. Taking another look at the golden crows, Long Chen withdrew from the chaotic space, but the shocking picture remained in Long Chen's mind for a long time. This time, Huolinger is really developed. 7,000 golden crows means that she has raised a golden crow legion under her command, and it is also a golden crow legion at the level of the Son of Destiny. The most terrifying thing is that the legion will continue to grow over time. There is no upper limit. As long as the energy of the ancient Fusang tree is enough, they will continue to grow. Long Chen glanced at the black soil and found that the 3 giant dragons had already submerged half of their bodies into the black soil, and the endless energy was decomposed and released, and it had begun to be officially swallowed. However, it seems that it will take a certain amount of time to swallow it, but once the swallowing is completed, the swallowing ability of the black soil will increase again, and it will become easier to swallow a corpse of this level in the future. Buzz. Just when Long Chen watched the dragon corpse in the black soil, the surrounding space suddenly fluctuated violently, and countless figures appeared beside him. When Long Chen saw it, it turned out to be a group of creatures with thunder runes circulating around them. Obviously, they were sent here. When Long Chen saw them, they also saw Long Chen, and at that moment, the eyes of Long Chen and the group of creatures suddenly turned red. Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix? Long Chen. The creature that appeared was the powerhouse of the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan, but what surprised Long Chen was that there were only more than 100 people in this group, including 7 Destiny Sons, and the rest were 9-star Destiny. What about Huang Wudao? Long Chen asked. What Long Chen didn't know was that Han Qianye issued a killing order. At that time, everyone rushed into the gate of space like crazy. In the violent squeeze, the original law of the family's transmission to one place was destroyed. Its random transmission. The more than 100 strong members of the Purple Electric Divine Phoenix clan were a group of people who were forcibly squeezed out of the Purple Electric Divine Phoenix clan and were transported here. These powerhouses of the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan did not answer Long Chen at all and directly showed a vision, with purple thunder all over their bodies, and everyone held a long sword of thunder and killed Long Chen. Buzz, one of the sons of destiny of the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan, came first. The destiny wheel was spinning behind him. In the wheel, endless thunder runes flickered, a sword fell, and the purple electricity penetrated the clouds, locking Long Chen to death. All the space around you. Long Chen was shocked. As soon as the expert shot, he knew if there was any. With a casual blow, he showed a strong combat experience. Snapped, the sword fell. Long Chen opened his big hand, grabbed the long sword, the power of purple blood in his palm condensed into a cross, and the violent power poured into the long sword. Buzz, countless thunder runes on the long sword lit up, bursting with the dazzling brilliance of the sun, and even Long Chen couldn't open his eyes. Long Chen couldn't help being taken aback. He originally thought that this attack on the cross-destroyer could completely blast the long sword, but he did not expect that this long sword was extremely strange, and the power of the cross-destroyer was absorbed by it. Puff, Long Chen didn't shatter the long sword, but the terrifying power shattered the man's palm. Long Chen kicked it out. Dust kicked the middle of the abdomen. Boom! The man was kicked by Long Chen, and the blood spurted out. However, this kick surprised Long Chen again. It stands to reason that the man's body protection has been scattered by him. The foot was enough to kick him 8 times, but when the foot fell, there was a strange force in his dantian, which helped him block most of the force. Something. An ordinary son of destiny, with such a fighting power, the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan is much stronger than the Golden Crow clan. Brother Long Chen, leave it to me. At this time, all the powerhouses of the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan came to Long Chen at the same time. Long Chen was just about to summon the dragon's blood to fight when suddenly Lei Linger's voice came. Boom! Suddenly, on the top of Long Chen's head, the power of thunder poured out, and the powerhouses of the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan who rushed to Long Chen were rushed away by the thunder torrent. Boom! Long Chen looked up and saw Lei Linger standing above the void. The endless power of thunder was pouring out of her body, like the ocean pouring backwards, flooding the space of millions of miles in an instant. The thunder rolled in, the mountains collapsed, and the trees turned into powder. Even Long Chen was stunned by this scene. At this time, Lei Linger's thunder power seemed to be endless. The powerhouses of the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan were overwhelmed by thunder, and their faces were terrified. In this sea of thunder, their power of thunder was rapidly being extracted. They struggled desperately, like drowning people, trying to grab a life-saving straw, but they were quickly submerged in the sea of thunder. Even the Son of Destiny couldn't hold on for a few breaths in the sea of thunder and was submerged. In just a few breaths before and after, all the auras of the strong Xidian Phoenix family disappeared, and at that moment, Long Chen was stunned. Chapter 5099 Between the heavens and the earth, the sea of thunder is churning, and the violent thunder force sets off thousands of miles of waves. Excited back and forth, the waves collide with the waves, making a deafening sound, resounding through the heaven and earth. Lei Linger was wearing a purple dress and a purple skirt, standing above the void, like a thunder goddess descending to earth, looking down at the heavens and the world. Lei Linger made a move, and the powerhouse of the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan was killed in an instant, without even having a chance to resist. Lei Linger didn't use any magical powers, she just crushed the opponent with the purest power of thunder, without any skill at all. And this kind of savage crushing only relies on the power of thunder. Looking at the endless sea of thunder, Long Chen's heart is full of shock. He can't think of how long it will take. Lei Linger's power of thunder has already grown to such a terrifying level. This Lei Hai is Lei Linger's domain. In this domain, even the Son of Destiny has no resistance. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, in the thunder sea, lightning surged, and the huge divine phoenix flew out, bringing a thunderous light and violent aura, which startled Long Chen, thinking that these Sons of Destiny had broken through Lei Linger's shackles. But after a closer look, Long Chen discovered that these divine phoenixes were gathered by the thunder runes, and there was no soul breath. Boom! A divine phoenix flew into the air, its wings spread wide, and the thunder feathers fell off one after another, turning into billions of sharp swords, pouring down, straight into the sea of thunder. Click! At this moment, the other divine phoenix opened its mouth, and a spear of thunder burst out of the air, piercing the net of the thunder sword, and the violent and sharp blow made Long Chen moved. Boom, boom, boom. These Purple Lightning Divine Phoenixes were frantically releasing their magical powers, and Long Chen suddenly understood that Lei Linger devoured them and was copying their natal runes, so that they could steal the unique skills of the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix family. The Divine Phoenix danced, and all kinds of thunder magical powers were intertwined. The scene was extremely heroic. The Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix was madly demonstrating various magical powers. Long Chen watched silently, protecting Lei Linger, and he was very excited. Hua Linger kept 18 golden crows in captivity, and she could use these golden crows' natural powers at will. And Lei Linger doesn't have the ability of Hua Linger, but she can steal the teacher. All along, Lei Linger has controlled very few tricks. The supernatural powers that are controlled in the mortal world are not available to the fairy world. Except for the supernatural powers that she cooperates with Long Chen and Huolinger, she has few tricks to do it herself. She couldn't compare with Huolinger in this regard, but today she finally had the opportunity to learn the technique of thunder, which she cherished very much. The Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan is an extremely ancient race. They have inherited countless magical powers, and they are all terrifying ancient magical powers. However, Lei Linger must hurry up. She needs to copy the magical powers of these Purple Lightning Divine Phoenixes as soon as possible before their wills are completely destroyed. When their wills are depressed, the magical powers will no longer appear. Buzz, after a few breaths, all the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix disappeared above the sea of Lei, and the stealing of the master was over. Lei Linger opened her eyes, with surprise and unwillingness in her eyes. Surprisingly, she has mastered more than a dozen terrifying magical powers of the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan in an instant, but unfortunately, these magical powers are only a drop in the bucket for those destined sons, and time is running out. She can only steal and learn so much. Brother Long Chen. The sky and the sea of thunder disappeared, and Lei Linger ran threw herself into the arms of Long Chen. Her pretty face was full of excitement. From today, I can protect you. Lei Linger hugged Long Chen's waist tightly with both hands. Because she was too excited, her delicate body kept shaking. Long Chen's big hand stroked Lei Linger's cheek, and her heart was full of warmth. Whether it's Lei Linger or Huolinger, they are all too sensible and distressing. Long Chen never thought about getting anything from them. He only hopes that they can grow up healthy and strong, and they can only be controlled by others. They think about strengthening themselves all the time, and the purpose of being strong is to protect him, which makes Long Chen both moved and ashamed. To put it bluntly, it was because he was not strong enough that Lei Linger and Huolinger had seen him in a dangerous situation countless times and could do nothing, so they were so desperate to improve. Long Chen looked at Lei Linger and gently kissed her forehead. Brother believes in you. Hearing Long Chen's encouragement, Lei Linger became even more excited. She returned to the chaos space for the first time and continued to fight with those lightning bolts. She wanted to subdue the will of thunder brought by the 6-pulse Tianxing level powerhouse. Before, she could only fight with brute force, but now, she has mastered more than a dozen magical powers of the Purple Lightning Divine Phoenix clan. The battlefield where she experimented with new tricks. Long Chen was equally excited. This time, both Lei Linger and Huolinger stood up, and they really stood up. Roar. Just when Long Chen was excited, a low roar came into Long Chen's ears, and Long Chen looked around, only to see a black monster in the distance, rushing towards him like a tide. It seems that this is the monster in the Tianhua demon domain. Long Chen looked at the monsters that came from all directions, and his face gradually showed a touch of excitement. Those monsters have long legs, but have 6 spider-like arms, no palms, but serrated bone knives. On the bone knives, there are spikes, and on the bone knives of many monsters, it is even more contaminated. Flesh. Obviously, these monsters have slaughtered people who have just entered the Skyfire demon realm before. These monsters have slender heads, abnormally protruding backs, sharp teeth, but no eyes. The big mouth opened, making a harsh roar, and blue mucus hung on the sharp teeth. Even from a great distance, they could smell their bad breath. The breath of these monsters is amazing, and it is impossible to judge their level by the cultivation standards of the human race, but from Long Chen's intuition, the strength of these monsters should be between the 3-star destiny and the 5-star destiny. This is only in terms of strength. However, their teeth and bone knives are highly poisonous. In a one-on-one situation, the 5-star destiny may not be their opponents. What's more, the endless monsters have formed a magic tide. Even if the Son of Destiny is surrounded by them, they will hate it on the spot. If other people see this scene, they will immediately flee, while Long Chen is standing on the void quietly, awaiting their arrival. Boom! Endless monsters rushed in. Looking around, Long Chen had been overwhelmed by endless monsters, just when the monsters rushed to Long Chen and rushed towards Long Chen. Long Chen screamed in the sky, and the sacred and magnificent dragon roar turned into a billowing wave of air that quickly spread in all directions. Chapter 5100 Dragon Roaring 9 Heavens. Long Chen screamed in the sky. The sound of Long Chen turned into rolling thunder. The sacred and magnificent sound waves swept the universe and slammed into the endless monsters. Puff puff. The sound waves swept the heavens, and the monsters hit by the sound waves were instantly smashed into powder and turned into nothingness. With a long whistle, hundreds of millions of monsters were killed. After the sound wave, all the monsters were emptied by the naked eye. On the ground, only a thick layer of sticky things was left. In the void, there are countless. The dust is slowly falling. As expected, the purer the monster's breath is, the more severe it will be restrained by divine power. Long Chen looked at the endless dust and secretly said in his heart, "The breath of these monsters is stronger than the monsters he encountered when he and the Dragon Blood Legion recaptured the base, and the magic is more pure and rich." At the beginning, Long Chen felt that these monsters were afraid of divine power, but at that time, Long Chen's divine power had not been fully awakened. Now, the power of Long Chen's dragon blood, after being baptized by the divine pool of the Long family and the precipitation of Jili Pagoda, has been completely awakened by the divine power, and the power of a roar has instantly turned hundreds of millions of monsters into nothingness. In this way, these monsters will basically not pose any threat to the Bai Long family. Originally, Long Chen was a little worried about Bai Yingxue and others, but now it seems that there is no need for that. Under the restraint of divine power, these monsters should deter when they see them. Long Chen suddenly moved in his heart, the figure flickered, his big hand opened, and a monster was caught by Long Chen volley from the dust. Half-step son of destiny, Long Chen sensed that this monster was very powerful. All the monsters were dead, but it still sighed. Puff! As soon as Long Chen pointed it out, it penetrated its forehead, and the monster's body trembled violently, and then it died like that. There is a mess in my head, and there are a few pictures, which are extremely blurry. Long Chen wanted to search for his soul, but he didn't expect that such a powerful monster has such a vague consciousness that he couldn't find anything useful at all. This monster's strength is so terrifying, but its wisdom is extremely low, which makes Long Chen's heart slightly stunned. It is no wonder that the major forces of Emperor Tian have been suppressed so much. This time Long Chen has found the answer. The low intelligence of monsters means that they are not afraid of death and will only act according to their instincts. Who cannot be afraid of such monsters who are not afraid of death? Also, thunder wings emerged behind Long Chen, and the man turned into a meteor and galloped away. Soon, Long Chen saw another large group of monsters, roaring and chasing a group of people. Long Chen glanced at those people. Well, it was a group of monsters. Before Long Chen could see their race, the team of several hundred people was instantly drowned. Those monsters seemed to have been hungry for tens of thousands of years. Their corpses were madly scrambled by them, and even some monsters would devour even the blood-stained soil. Everything happened so fast that Long Chen didn't even have a chance to rescue, and after those monsters devoured this group of people, their eyes became brighter, and Long Chen witnessed them devour the flesh and blood of the monsters. After that, their breath changed strangely. Among those monsters, there is a strange creature. It has 2 heads, and it eats the most of those corpses, but it still feels unfinished. When all the monsters were still fighting for the blood-stained soil on the ground, the 2-headed monster had already noticed Long Chen in the distance. Human race. What surprised Long Chen was that the monster spit out human words, and then rushed towards Long Chen like lightning. The speed of the monster is extremely fast. When running, there are endless phantoms in the void. When it is a few feet away from Long Chen, its body rotates rapidly, and the 6 bone knives are flying like a top, hitting Long Chen hard. To chop Long Chen into minced meat. Boom! With a bang, Long Chen and the monster crossed, and the monster's body was still moving fast, and Long Chen's hand had a huge head, which was the head of the monster. Buzz! Just when Long Chen took the head of the monster, Long Chen suddenly found that the golden lotus seeds floating above the void in the chaotic space flickered. I don't know if it is an illusion, but Long Chen found that the golden lotus seeds are much brighter than usual. Could it be? Long Chen's heart moved, and he suddenly remembered, as if killing these monsters can recharge the mysterious golden lotus seeds. This mysterious lotus seed was left to him by the mysterious palace ant. It once helped Long Chen fight against Yen Su. Because of it, Long Chen could keep Yu Qingxian. But Long Chen has never known its true face, just like the palace ant, full of mystery. Puff! The big hand crushed the head of the monster. This time, Long Chen saw many pictures, and also extracted some useful information from its soul. It turns out that they unlocked their wisdom by devouring, and the human race is a supreme treasure to them. Long Chen was secretly shocked. The monster that Long Chen just killed is the existence of the Child of Destiny, and the reason why it can have a bit of wisdom is because it devoured the souls of 7 human races and more than 30 monsters. This makes Long Chen stunned. Why does the Skyfire Demon realm look more like a trap? Obviously, these monsters are waiting for them to die. The opening of the Skyfire Demon realm is also a once-in-lifetime opportunity for them. If the monsters here are the same as the monsters in the outside world, then it is not difficult to explain why the human race has not been expanding its territory. Before, Long Chen didn't understand why after the human race became stronger, they didn't kill monsters and regain lost ground. Because once a war occurs, the casualties of the human race are not only a kind of consumption, but also a kind of financing for the enemy. If the absolute suppression cannot be achieved, the human race will definitely suffer. This is too terrifying. Humans are fighting against monsters. It is necessary to control the number of casualties. Otherwise, they will only commit suicide. It is no wonder that humans do not dare to fight against monsters. Roar, and at this moment, countless monsters have already killed Long Chen with red eyes. Long Chen snorted coldly and screamed in the sky again. The divine might was agitated, the dragon screamed for 9 days, and the sacred and solemn sound waves swept through. No monsters could survive. This time, Long Chen kept an eye on it. He has been paying attention to the golden lotus seeds in the chaotic space. Sure enough, when the countless monsters vanished, the golden lotus seeds trembled slightly, and they really lit up. Maybe here I can unveil its mystery. Seeing this scene, Long Chen was suddenly excited. He knew that this mysterious lotus seed was definitely a treasure. Now that he has found a way, he must figure it out. After Long Chen killed these monsters, he galloped away in one direction. According to the memory of the monster, the front was the meeting point of their teams. Chapter 5101. Long Chen galloped forward all the way, and Long Chen found that although the monsters here are messy, they are still controlled by the leader. Long Chen didn't know what method they used to convey the message, but the monster of the Child of Destiny that Long Chen killed took the entire team to fly in one direction. As Long Chen moved forward and met other monsters, Long Chen killed several waves of monsters and found that these monsters seemed to be closing the net. The outer area seemed to be a set-up trap, and after they entered, the monsters began to kill in an orderly manner. The place where Long Chen is located is a huge ambush circle. Through soul-searching, Long Chen roughly knows that in this area where he is located, there are dozens of teams working together to surround and suppress people in this area. Moreover, from their consciousness, Long Chen felt that they didn't seem to want to kill them all, but Long Chen couldn't understand what plans they had. So Long Chen could only continue to move forward. Suddenly, there was a thunderous roar in front of him, the earth was shaking, and the wind was roaring. Long Chen immediately accelerated and galloped forward. When Long Chen crossed a high mountain and saw the situation below, Long Chen couldn't help but be surprised. He saw a huge mountain valley, and the tide-like monsters surrounded tens of thousands of people. Those monsters roared constantly, but they were completely neat, seems to be singing and seems to be praying. The tens of thousands of powerhouses surrounded by the core area. Long Chen took a look. There are monsters, demons, blood, and humans, but those humans, Long Chen, don't know, and have no friendship, so Long Chen lays down on the top of the mountain watching quietly. Among these tens of thousands of people, there are dozens of children of destiny, and some of them are not weak, But no matter how strong they are, surrounded by endless monsters, there is no possibility of escape. After all, the number of monsters is tens of thousands of times that of them. The most important thing is that there are at least thousands of these monsters at the level of the Son of Destiny. Long Chen saw despair in the eyes of this group of people. Puff puff. The monsters danced strange dances, and the roars became more and more rhythmic. There were strange lights flashing on the monsters, and the strange lights gathered at the core of the battlefield. And those people in the core of the battlefield were terrified at this time. They didn't know what these monsters were going to do. Some of them wanted to break through, but they couldn't get out at all. These monsters don't seem to be in a hurry to kill them. They are still roaring and dancing strangely. Long Chen can't help but be surprised when he sees this. This is the sacrifice. Long Chen is also a well-informed person. From the dance moves of those monsters, the reconciliation in his mouth, and the movements on the entire battlefield, he can see a clue. Long Chen's eyes searched for those monsters, and soon he saw an old man holding a bone staff. The old man was wearing animal skin and a bone crown, his face was full of dense lines, and his eyes had vertical pupils, like the eyes of a crocodile, and it looked cold. 3 Pulse heavenly saint-level existence. Looking at the old man, Long Chen couldn't help but be startled. The old man was full of devilish energy, the same as those of the monsters, but the appearance looked the same as the human race. The bone staff in his hand was glowing, and he should be the leader of this sacrifice. At this time, he was chanting words, and the bone staff in his hand tapped the ground rhythmically, keeping a rhythm with the roar of the surrounding monsters. Roar! Suddenly the old man shouted, and the bone staff in his hand slammed to the ground. Buzz! A huge vortex formed in the center of the battlefield. Those strong men screamed in horror and were instantly sucked into the vortex. At that moment, even the Son of Destiny seemed so powerless in front of that vortex. Long Chen was taken aback and hurriedly took out the amethyst sky pupil and looked at the vortex. The divine light flowed in the amethyst sky pupil. Long Chen saw a huge altar through the vortex, and there was a huge stone on the altar. On the stone, the runes flowed, and the breath of life was blooming. It was a stone tire. When he saw the stone tire, Long Chen's heart jumped wildly, because on the stone tire, Long Chen felt the creepy breath. When Long Chen wanted to continue to look inside the stone tire with his amethyst sky pupil, the vortex had disappeared, and the picture that Long Chen saw also disappeared. There must be an amazing secret in that stone fetus. Long Chen put down the amethyst tiantong, and his heart was still beating wildly. Long Chen killed from the mortal world to the immortal world. He has seen a lot of various formations and various altars. He can see at a glance that the things nourished by the stone body in the altar are absolutely terrifying. These monsters sacrificed those powerhouses to the stone body, which must be nourishing the existence of the stone body. The stone body is a bit like the god egg that Long Chen put Xiaoshui in. The sacrifices from the outside world are all to hatch what's inside. This group of brainless guys can actually sacrifice these people to that stone tire. This is too unreasonable. We have to find a way to find out. Long Chen clenched his fist. This discovery is too amazing. It has to be understood. Buzz! Suddenly, Long Chen felt a warning sign, almost instinctively dodged, and retreated from the original place to 100 miles away. Boom! A bone staff will penetrate the place where Long Chen was before. If Long Chen's reaction is slow, he will be smashed into flesh by the bone staff. When he saw the white bone staff, Long Chen's terrifying face suddenly appeared in his mind. Call! The white bone staff flew up, and Long Chen looked up and saw the old man with runes on his face, looking at him coldly, with a surprise in his eyes. What a powerful qi and blood, what a strong soul. If you can be sacrificed, the process of the demon's awakening will be greatly advanced, and it is unknown if it will even awaken directly. The old man's voice was hoarse, like a shovel rubbing against the sand, and every syllable was creepy, especially when he spoke. The runes on his face were flowing, as if countless centipedes were crawling, looking particularly terrifying. Boom! At this time, endless monsters rushed towards Long Chen like a tide, and instantly surrounded Long Chen. Facing the siege of monsters and the confrontation of the three-veined Tianqing-level powerhouse, Long Chen did not have a trace of fear, because now he is no longer what he used to be. Long Chen looked at the old man and said lightly, "The stone body on the altar is the devil, you said?" In the face of Long Chen's question, the old man had no expression on his face, the bone staff in his hand slammed, and suddenly the roar sounded again, and the strange dance appeared again. Buzz, when the sacrificial formation appeared, Long Chen suddenly felt his whole body tighten, and the energy of hundreds of millions of monsters locked him in an instant. Don't say yes? Then he'll fight until you say it. Qilong battle body, now. Facing the old man and the endless monsters, Long Chen slammed, and the ring of God opened the world, and the sound of the dragon's roar resounded through the ages. Chapter 5102. With the sound of Long Chen's drink, the dragon scale battle armor appeared, the blood-colored cloak fluttered, and the violent energy of qi and blood rose into the sky, shaking the universe, and even the ancient immortals would change color. At this time, Long Chen, facing the three-veined heavenly saint-level monster, especially does not need any scruples here. Long Chen directly detonated the dragon's blood without any reservations. Boom! Long Chen summoned the dragon's blood to fight, as if the volcanic eruption that had been silent for hundreds of millions of years, the power that destroyed the sky and the earth directly shook the mountains under Long Chen's feet into powder, and those monsters that were closer to Long Chen instantly turned into nothingness. Under the restraint of the sacred dragon, even the demons of the children of destiny cannot be spared. Long Chen's firepower is fully activated, just like the gods descended to the world, disdainful of the 9 heavens and 10 places. Buzzing. The power of Long Chen's dragon blood rises, and the billowing waves continue to sweep the heaven and the earth. In the divine ring behind him, the giant dragon is churning. Unlike the past, the dragon's action at this time is no longer slow, and it has become extraordinarily active. At that moment, Long Chen felt an unprecedented power. He thought that when he was in the Long family, the dragon blood battle body had reached its peak. But Long Chen found that after he absorbed the power of the 3 veins left by Qiankuan Ding, the dragon blood battle body was still getting stronger, and its power seemed to be endless. As soon as the dragon's blood came out, the world trembled, the mountains and rivers were shocked, and even the 3-brained heavenly saint-level monster was startled by the breath of Long Chen. Although he had already seen that Long Chen contained the terrifying power of qi and blood, and felt the pressure of Long Chen's vast soul, he did not expect that Long Chen's strength far exceeded his expectations. Long Chen stood between the sky and the earth, and the violent coercion made thousands of roads roar. The sacrifices originally performed by those monsters were interrupted for a moment. At that moment, Long Chen saw the color of fear in the eyes of these monsters. It turns out that they are stupid like monsters, and they can't overcome the instinct of life. In the face of absolute power, they will still feel fear. It seems that they are not absolute idiots. Long Chen snorted and looked at the shocked old man. Call. Long Chen moved, he stepped on the void, and he was like a dragon, with a claw sticking out, and the claw of a giant dragon roared in the ring behind him. Cloud Dragon offering claws in the face of the Sanmai heavenly saint-level powerhouse, Long Chen did not dare to be careless at all, and the shot was the most severe lore. As soon as the dragon's claws came out, the sky was sealed, and the void collapsed. The dragon's claws had already descended on the head of the 3-veined heavenly holy monster. This blow was as fast as lightning, and it was unavoidable. Children of the human race, you are not self-sufficient. Today I will let you see the supreme power from the world of the devil. When the monster saw Long Chen killing him, he was shocked at first, and then shouted angrily, and the 3 magic lines on his body flowed. The power of the Sanmai Tianqing-level powerhouse burst out, and the white bone staff in his hand opened a 3-flower shield. The 3-flower shield is thousands of miles in diameter, and its arrogance is soaring to the sky, but this 1,000-mile shield is as small as a toy in front of the huge dragon claws. Boom! The dragon claws fell. The sharp dragon claws shattered the shield in an instant, and the dragon claws drove straight in and slapped the old man. Boom! The dragon claws pressed down, the old man and the mountain he was on were smashed by a blow, and the huge dragon claws sank deep into the ground. The dragon's claws were huge and hit the ground, causing the whole world to tremble, and the huge shock wave it formed spread out. Those stupid monsters, although they knew fear, but did not know how to escape, were instantly crushed by the terrifying shock wave. There are only a few hundred Destiny Child-level monsters who have survived the impact, but they were also shocked and flew far away. Long Chen succeeded in a blow, and there was no excitement on his face, but with a hint of solemnity, before the dragon claws disappeared, he punched behind him. Boom! Long Chen smashed into the air with a punch. When the power of the punch reached its peak, a white bone staff appeared silently and was smashed by Long Chen with a punch. With a loud bang, Long Chen's fist suffered a sharp pain, and the person was knocked out by the white bone staff, and the violent force attached to the white bone staff almost made Long Chen vomit blood. Long Chen flew out, and the figure of the three-veined heavenly holy monster appeared behind the white bone staff. At this time, he was shocked, and he seemed unable to imagine how Long Chen blocked his killing blow. And Long Chen was also stunned. At this time, he was in a state of dragon blood, and the sacred dragon might have a great suppression of monsters. Even if it is a Sanmai Tianxing level monster, Long Chen has the confidence to suppress his strength to about 80%. It is because of this confidence that Long Chen is ready to give it a shot. Long Chen did not expect that the strength of the Sanmai Tianxing and the monsters suppressed by Long Wei was still so terrifying. The blow just now almost broke Long Chen's arm. It's no wonder that Senior Chen Kuan-Ding said that he ran away when he encountered a Sanmai Tianxing level powerhouse, but he was still suppressed. If he wasn't suppressed by Long Wei, I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to run. Long Chen secretly said in his heart. At this time, he is considered to have a new understanding of the Sanmai Tianxing level powerhouse, but the more terrifying the Sanmai Tianxing level powerhouse is, the more excited Long Chen is. Long Chen did not retreat but advanced, and rushed towards the three-pulse heavenly holy monster like lightning, grabbed it with one claws, and took the old man's face. Buzz! The old man snorted coldly, waved the white bone staff in his hand, and there were gray ripples scattered on the white bone staff. When Long Chen rushed into the gray ripples, he suddenly shouted badly. In the gray ripples, there seems to be some kind of strange law. His body seems to be attached to something, his movements become slow, and his arms are waving as if he is wearing a hoops. Tianmai Law? Long Chen's heart was beating wildly. He had once slapped the ancestor of the Long family, and had seen Bai Yingxian press down on the two Sanmai heavenly sages. There is a fighting force. But in this world, there are some things that cannot be seen. Only by experiencing it personally can you know how terrible it is. For Long Chen, this kind of law is equivalent to a dimensionality reduction blow. Obviously catch it. The old man seemed to have expected Long Chen's reaction long ago. His left hand was like electricity, and his palm like a dead branch directly grabbed Long Chen's throat. Long Chen's reactions and movements became extremely slow, but the old man's speed was not affected at all. Almost as soon as Long Chen saw his movements, the old man's big hand had touched Long Chen's throat. Get off your dirty paws! Just when the old man was about to succeed, a long stick wrapped in flames smashed heavily on the old man's forearm. Snapped, with a loud bang, the old man was kicked out by a stick, and then, a beautiful girl in a red dress with flames flowing all over her body appeared in front of Long Chen. Chapter 5103 The beautiful girl who shot was Huolinger. At this time, she was holding a flame-long stick, her long hair was flying, and her dress was fluttering, blocking Long Chen's body. Brother Long Chen, leave this guy to me. Huolinger looked back at Long Chen and smiled at Long Chen. The power of this guy's source can overcome me. I'm too disadvantaged to fight against him. Xieyu is not here. I can't beat him. If you think you can, just do it. Long Chen smiled bitterly. The power of the origin of Sanmai Tianxing is similar to a law. In the realm, Long Chen is crushed to death. Even if he has the sacred dragon power, He is also crushed and extremely uncomfortable. If there is a Keel Evil Moon, he still has the power to fight, but the Keel Evil Moon is still sleeping. Long Chen can't disturb it. Facing the three-vein Tianxing level powerhouse, there is really no way. Although it is said that Long Chen can fight the old man recklessly and try the true strength of the three-brained Tianxing level powerhouse, but after all, this is the Tianhua demon realm, with many dangers and injuries here. It is not a joke. To die. Now that Huolinger appeared, Long Chen didn't stop her. After all, she was the body of Huoling, so she wouldn't have to worry about her life. Even if they couldn't beat her, they could escape, but Long Chen told Huolinger not to consume too much power. Otherwise, in case of other dangers, it will be difficult to escape. Brother Long Chen, don't worry, watch my ox knife test. Huolinger blinked at Long Chen, showing a mischievous smile, and then walked to the old man in front of him step by step. Huolinger carried the flame stick on her shoulder and said loudly to the old man, "Old Deng, tell me, how do you want to die?" As soon as Huolinger opened his mouth, Long Chen almost fainted. Huolinger was imitating Long Chen in terms of movements, demeanor, eyes, and tone, except for the difference in voice. Obviously, the old man holding the white bone staff did not know what Lao Deng meant. He looked at Huolinger coldly and suddenly sneered. It turned out to be just a fire spirit. It seems that you are here for the source stone of Skyfire in the Core Land. Hee, unfortunately you have no chance. What heavenly fire origin stone? Don't talk about those useless ones, old man. Quickly apologize to my brother, or I will burn you into a roast pig today. Huolinger waved the long stick in his hand and pointed at the old man arrogantly. Ignorance, stupidity. The old man sneered and suddenly moved. His figure appeared strangely in front of Huolinger with sharp claws like a knife, stabbing directly in front of Huolinger's chest. Golden crow splitting the sky facing the old man's surprise attack. Huolinger made a seal with one hand, and suddenly a pair of golden wings grew from behind her, covering the sky. The wings fell, and the sky was torn apart. The sky was like a piece of paper, and a crack went straight to the golden crow old man. When he saw this scene, Long Chen couldn't help but be surprised. This move was so terrifying. Long Chen didn't expect that it took so long for Huolinger to control such a terrifying magical power. This is also a law, and it has its own lock. No matter how the old man avoids, he will definitely bear the force of a tear. If it is not enough, it will be torn apart together. This is the first time Long Chen has seen. Boom! Facing Huolinger's blow, the old man's face changed greatly, and the man retreated sharply. At the same time, he waved the white bone staff in his hand and summoned a shield again. Laugh. The shield was torn like a piece of paper, and the crack quickly spread to the top of the old man's head. The old man roared, and the man flew backwards. When looking at him again, Long Chen was shocked to find that the top of the old man's head was cracked open, and blood was flowing along its eyebrows, and Huolinger's blow almost tore the old man to pieces. Is this too scary? Long Chen couldn't believe his eyes. Huolinger's power is inherently terrifying, but she has never been very good at controlling and using these powers. She has mastered 3 of the top 10 flames on the Skyfire ranking. Although they are only 3 prototypes, if she could really control this kind of power, the guy on the opposite side would be dead long ago. Qian Ding said. So strong. Long Chen's heart was beating wildly. The power of heavenly fire needs to communicate with the way of heaven. After being baptized in the Shenqi, Huolinger has awakened the power of heaven's will and has the conditions to communicate with the way of heaven. But the flame techniques she had mastered before were too low level. Although your world-extinguishing fire lotus is extremely powerful, it will take a certain amount of time for her to integrate the power of destiny. However, these shortcomings of hers were made up by the Jinwu family. The Jinwu family's natal supernatural powers are becoming the bridge between her power of heavenly fire and the power of heavenly way. What you see now is just the tip of the iceberg of the power of heavenly fire. The Huolinger will make you admire. Qian Ding said. It's already impressive, and if I scrape it again, I'm afraid I will be blinded. Long Chen said excitedly. What Long Chen doesn't know is that the fires controlled by Huolinger are all completed in the chaotic space. The chaotic space is a world of its own, and the power of the sky fire also carries the laws of the chaotic space. Therefore, Huolinger uses the power of the sky fire in the outside world. Will also be subject to many restrictions. After Huolinger was promoted to the Son of Destiny, she discovered this problem, so she cultivated while balancing the power of the two worlds, so that the power of Tianhua could be maximized. Today, the appearance of the Golden Crow clan is like building a bridge between the two worlds inside and outside, making Huolinger suddenly enlightened. Today, he finally showed the strength that Tianhua should have, and the old man suffered a big loss with one blow. Asshole, the old man was furious. He didn't take Huolinger as a small fire spirit in his heart at first. At the same time, he also knew that Huoling was almost indestructible, so he didn't need to compete with Huolinger. His attention was on Long Chen. He felt that Long Chen summoned Huolinger to give himself a chance to escape, so he didn't do his best to deal with Huolinger. The fastest speed to take down Long Chen. Therefore he suffered a big loss. The seeds in his head seemed to have been chopped by an axe, and there was a big gap. If he hadn't activated the power of the source in time, Huolinger's blow would have really torn his body to pieces. Die, the old man roared, 3 air currents swirling around his body, and the terrifying pressure rose. At this time, he finally broke out with all his strength, and the bone staff in his hand smashed into the sky. Hee, just because you want to kill me? In the words of Brother Long Chen, you won't want to achieve this great goal in your life. Seeing that the old man's staff fell, Huolinger still had time to sneer. Waving the flame-long stick in his hand, he greeted him without any fancy. Let you see the power of the Golden Crow Panlong stick. The long stick in Huolinger's hand glowed, and 18 runes suddenly appeared. When he saw those runes, Long Chen's mouth opened wide. Chapter 51. For that's right, the real Golden Crow Dragon Stick. On top of the flame stick, 18 Golden Crow totems lit up at the same time. At that moment, Long Chen saw 18 golden crows flying in the long stick, and their power was condensed into one. Strands. Boom! The Golden Crow Dragon Stick smashed on top of the white bone staff. This was an absolute duel of power. Huolinger and the old man retreated at the same time in the shocking sound. However, Long Chen was directly blown away by the explosive force of the two, and the violent air wave shook his blood and almost vomited blood. When Long Chen flew upside down, looking at Huolinger couldn't help but be ecstatic. Huolinger even fought with the old man on a par with the old man. In this way, if he joined, he might be able to kill this old guy. Bastard, what kind of power is this? The old man was shocked and angry, and he couldn't believe his eyes. The dignified, 3-brained heavenly saint-level powerhouse was actually shaken back by a flame spirit. "I'm not your mother, why should I tell you?" Originally, Long Chen was shocked, but Huolinger's words made Long Chen speechless. Why is this girl so skinny now, and she is imitating Long Chen's tone, but can you imitate this kind of words? Call. Huolinger waved the long stick in his hand, and the golden crow totem flew out from the long stick, turning into 18,000-mile golden crows. When he saw these golden crows, Long Chen's heart jumped wildly. These golden crows are exactly those golden crows raised by Huolinger. Now they have fully grown up, and they are all at the level of the Son of Destiny. The most terrifying thing is that the flames circulate around them, and their breath is much stronger than those of the Jinwu clan powerhouses killed by Long Chen, and they are not at the same level. Golden Crow weeps blood. Eternal lore. Huolinger stopped drinking, the golden crows lined up, blood-colored lines appeared in their eyes, and then their big mouths opened at the same time. Buzz, Dao Dao carried blood-colored divine brilliance, spurting out from their mouths, 18 divine brilliance condensed into one, forming a golden spear. They almost just took shape before the old man. Call. The old man shouted angrily, opened his claws, and a bone shield appeared. On the bone shield, there were hundreds of skeleton skulls inlaid. When he saw those skulls, Long Chen couldn't help but be surprised. Those skulls were the skulls of monsters. Each skull had strange lines and terrifying aura. All the good guys are the skulls of Sanmai heavenly saint-level monsters. When Long Chen saw this bone shield, he couldn't help but take a breath. This thing is cruel enough. Boom! The 18 golden crows activated their natal supernatural powers at the same time, and they collided with the bone shield. Huolinger's attack. Die! The old man sacrificed the bone shield, and his breath soared in an instant. It turned out that this bone shield was one of his treasures. Every skull contained vast energy. With it, the energy of the old man was endless. The old man came, the bone shield slammed forward. Huolinger waved the golden crow panlong stick to block. Just as she waved the stick, all the golden crows in the void disappeared and returned to the coiling dragon stick again. Boom! The coiling dragon stick smashed on the bone shield, the heavens and the earth trembled, the eternity cracked open, the golden flames blended with the devilish energy, and a big hole was hit in the sky. Huolinger was shaken out, but instead of being timid, Huolinger became more and more excited, and she waved the golden crow dragon stick in her hand. Buzz! 18 golden crows appeared behind her, and after the 18 golden crows flew out, their figures flickered and gradually became illusory. Fusang shines in the world, the golden crow is possessed. Huolinger made a seal on her hands and drank. Buzz! Behind Huolinger, the void was turbulent, the sky was broken, and large trees that covered the sky appeared, and a full 18 ancient hibiscus trees appeared in front of Long Chen. Ilgo, is this okay? Long Chen's eyes were about to pop out. Huolinger actually summoned the ancient Fusang tree in the form of a vision. When 18 golden crows landed on the 18 ancient Fusang trees, the terrifying coercion made even Long Chen shudder. The ancient Fusang tree has always been in the chaotic space and has never been summoned. Long Chen is the first time to see it appear in the outside world. The canopy that covers the sky is swaying like leaves made of gold. It looks so splendid, so magnificent, and shocking indescribably. When Huolinger summoned the ancient Fusang tree, even the old man on the opposite side was stunned. He had never seen such a terrifying vision before. At that moment, a look of fear appeared in his eyes. Eat me a stick! Huolinger, who summoned the vision of Fusang, smashed the old man with the golden crow dragon stick in her hand. The moment she pulled out the stick, the 18 ancient golden crow trees lit up at the same time, and the 18 golden crow opened their wings at the same time. Endless energy rushed towards the fire spirit. Boom! Huolinger's stick fell, causing the universe to tremble. The old man was frightened and angry, and could only block with the bone shield. As a result, with a loud noise, the bone shield was torn apart and smashed by Huolinger's stick. Puff! The arm of the old man holding the shield instantly exploded into a blood mist, and at the same time, the old man spurted out a mouthful of blood, and the man flew out like a meteor. This blow was shocking, and the 3-pulse Tianxing level powerhouse was also unable to resist. Long Chen was so excited, he clapped his hands wildly to cheer for Huolinger, and his palms were smashed. Call! The old man's bone shield was smashed, one arm disappeared, he suddenly stepped on the void, turned around and ran. This guy was scared. Want to run? Seeing this, Huolinger sneered and sealed her hands. Boom boom boom. The ancient Fusang trees behind Huolinger disappeared one by one, and then they appeared again, blocking the entire world. Although the old man ran fast, he still did not escape the range of Huolinger's vision. A huge tree Fusang Gumu blocked his way. Die! The old man was terrified. He knew that if he broke through the blockade, he would definitely die today. The bone staff in his hand slashed through the void and smashed the ancient Fusang tree. Buzz! A golden crow appeared on the ancient hibiscus tree, its wings spread out, and it slammed into the old man so fiercely and fearlessly. Boom! With a loud bang, the golden crow was shattered by the old man's staff and turned into a flame that filled the sky, and as the flames circulated, countless fist-sized golden crows appeared, wrapping the old man heavily. What? The old man shouted in horror. He thought he could smash the golden crow and the ancient Fusang tree with one blow, but he didn't expect that he could not even do the golden crow. The endless golden crows rushed towards the old man like lightning, and it could be faintly seen that golden threads were in their mouths, covering the old man in layers. Boom boom boom. The old man fought back, but after waving a few times, the white bone staff was covered with silk threads, and the movement became extremely slow. This delay, more silk threads fell, and instantly wrapped him into a cocoon. Seeing the terrifying Sanmai Tianxing level powerhouse, Huolinger captured him alive in a few moves, and Long Chen was stunned. Chapter 5105, Brother Long Chen. Huolinger's call brought Long Chen back from the shock. Boom! When Long Chen pointed out, the old man was shocked and was suppressed by Huolinger, unable to move. Long Chen pointed at the old man's eyebrows. As a result, this blow not only did not penetrate the old man's head, but shocked Long Chen's fingers. It's over, I can't search for my soul. Long Chen was shocked and angry. A 3-meridian Tianxing was tied up, and he couldn't kill the other party. If he used other weapons to pry open his mind, he would not be able to search for the soul immediately, or he would be lost in a flash and find nothing. Brother Long Chen, I'll help you. At this moment, an ancient bronze cauldron appeared. It was the Yaoyue cauldron that Long Chen had just obtained. As soon as the Yaoyue cauldron appeared, the lid of the cauldron flew up and swallowed the old man into it. Boom! The Yaoyue cauldron was closed, and endless runes circulated on the cauldron. At that moment, the demonic aura rose, and the Yaoyue cauldron kept shaking. Brother Long Chen, help me. Yao Linger shouted. Buzz, Long Chen and Huolinger stretched out one hand at the same time and pressed it on the Yaoyue cauldron, one supported with the power of the soul and the other with the power of flame. Boom! Let me out, you goddamn human race, you have to die. The Yaoyue cauldron trembled, and the old man's roar came from inside. He seemed to be struggling frantically inside, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't rush out of the Yaoyue cauldron. With the passage of time, the movement in the cauldron became smaller and smaller. After a stick of incense, it completely calmed down. At this time, the Yaoyue cauldron opened. Call, a fist-sized transparent ball appeared, and then the old man's body flew out. Long Chen grabbed the transparent ball, and was shocked to find that the transparent ball contained the memory of the old man. Long Chen couldn't help but be surprised and happy. Yao Linger was too strong, and even extracted its memory directly. Long Chen hurriedly checked, and was shocked to find that this old man had experienced the opening of the Skyfire Demon realm 4 times. From an ordinary monster, he continuously devoured the strong human race, from ignorance to wisdom, gradually gave birth to wisdom, stood out from the army of stupid monsters, and gradually became a leader. However, what shocked Long Chen was that among the monster army, there were a group of true leaders who were the masters of all monsters. They are born with wisdom and do not need to devour the human race to cultivate. They have a very high status. This Sanmai Tianxing level old man is just a little errand running errands in front of them. From his memory, Long Chen saw some broken pictures. These pictures were extremely blurry and incomplete. Long Chen knew that the memory of this old man was sealed, and outsiders could not extract important information at all. But even so, Long Chen's harvest is still huge. He knows that these monsters treat their participants as prey, and sacrifice powerful prey to their demons. The so-called demon is the stone tire that Long Chen saw through Amethyst Tiantong, but the secret of this stone tire is not at all in the old man's memory. This is completely unreasonable, so Long Chen dares to conclude that there is a seal or prohibition in the old man's memory, and a touch will destroy the memory, so that others cannot get useful information. The Sanmai Heavenly Saint level powerhouse is just a minion, which is a bit scary. Thinking of this, Long Chen couldn't help taking a breath. Brother Long Chen, don't be discouraged. If you encounter the existence of the Sanmai Tianxing after a while, I will kill you and search for your soul directly to see if you can gain more. Huolinger saw Long Chen's expression. Dignified, I thought he was unhappy because he didn't find useful information. Long Chen smiled slightly and said, You are really amazing. With you here in the future, even if I encounter a Sanmai Tianxing level powerhouse, I will not be afraid. As Long Chen spoke, he threw the old man's body into the chaotic space. Long Chen looked at Yao Linger. At this time, Yao Linger looked excited, but there was a look of exhaustion in her eyes. Before, Chen Kuanding wanted to scold Yao Linger, but was blocked by Long Chen secretly because Yao Linger was still in the adaptation stage at this time, and she couldn't use Yao Yuding at all. She was already overloaded by helping Long Chen to refine her soul just now. Action. However, Long Chen knows Yao Linger very well. Yao Linger has been asleep for too long. Compared with Hua Linger and Lei Linger, she has no sense of security. She was afraid that she would continue to sleep because she couldn't help Long Chen. Because of fear, she tried her best to express herself, so even if she overdrawn her physical strength and caused certain damage to her body, she still had to express herself. Long Chen reached out and fondly touched Yao Linger's head and encouraged her a few words, which made Yao Linger greatly encouraged and excited. After returning to the chaotic space, Qian Kuan-ding warned her a few words to let her continue to practice, and without its permission, she was not allowed to shoot casually. Yao Linger also knew that she had done something wrong and was very worried about being scolded by Qian Kuan-ding. However, seeing that Qian Kuan-ding just said a few words to her softly, and her tone was not so severe, she immediately became elated and continued to practice obediently. There are 2 monsters nearby, let's take a look. Long Chen said to Hua Linger. Great! When Hua Linger heard it, she was overjoyed immediately. With a wave of the golden crow panlong stick, a golden crow flew out, with its wings spread, carrying Long Chen and Hua Linger like a flaming meteor, breaking through the air. Thousands of miles of golden crow, its wings crossed the sky, golden dust fluttered, forming a golden flying rainbow, which remained in the void for a long time, looking arrogant and domineering. Jinwu is extremely fast. Looking down from the sky, he soon found a group of monsters cleaning the battlefield. The so-called cleaning up the battlefield is that some low-level monsters are eating the soil on the battlefield. Obviously, the battle here is over. One step late. Roar! When Long Chen and Hua Linger appeared, they immediately attracted the attention of these monsters, and these monsters rushed towards Long Chen frantically. While Hua Linger was driving the golden crow, he rushed towards the group of monsters. At the same time, Hua Linger's jade hand opened, and a flaming lotus flower appeared. This is the starting style of the world-extinguishing fire lotus. However, Hua Linger's blow is different from Long Chen's world-extinguishing fire lotus. On the lotus, the golden crow totem appears, and at the same time, the shadow of the ancient Fusang tree appears. Buzz! The fire lotus just appeared, and it soared rapidly. In an instant, Hua Linger waved his hand, and the huge fire lotus fell to the ground like a meteor. Boom! The flame lotus exploded, and in the rising golden flames, you could faintly see countless golden crows flying, and at the same time, you could see the leaves of hibiscus swaying, hitting those monsters, and the monsters instantly turned into nothingness. With one shot down, the whole world was cremated. Except for a 3-veined heavenly holy monster, all the other monsters were killed. This blow is countless times more terrifying than Long Chen's world-destroying fire lotus. Long Chen was once again killed. Startled. Brother Long Chen, you have a cup of tea first, and my sister will come when you go. Without waiting for Long Chen to speak, Hua Linger smiled and rushed down with the golden crow dragon stick. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.